Ben, are you done? I'm about to call
Yep.
the meeting to order.
Yep.
You sure? All right.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, Kiana, before you call, can you resend me the document that you sent to me earlier this week? I'm sorry, I don't know if it was you or Virgil. Excuse me.
It was Virgil.
Okay.
I'm gonna call him. He's on the phone, so he probably heard you. It's 7 p.m. and I'm gonna call the I'm sorry, Rhoda, do we have any minutes to approve from July and August?
Kiana, if I could interrupt, your internet's dropping in and out. We can't hear you. Is there a way you can call in on the phone, maybe?
No, ma'am. I thought I emailed them out. August, I don't. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Y'all have to excuse me. Not doing really well tonight, but I knew I had to do this, so. Not expecting minutes. I'm going to say no because it would take me a while to go back and forth and pull up the minutes for my documents. So I'm just going to say no.
Can you hear me? Yeah, they can't hear me at all. Oh, I think this is this computer.
Can you hear me, Kiana?
Yeah, we can hear you, Rhoda.
Kiana?
Yeah, and the reason I didn't because I normally don't have them. I just send them out.
Kiana, we heard you. Can you speak again, please?
Oh,
So
no,
am
no, no, no.
I clear? You guys hear me?
You're not clear.
Yeah, I'm not clear. So hold on, I'm gonna have to dial in. I'm gonna have to call in.
That way Miss Liz see you all too.
All right, just thanks everybody for your patience. Kiana, the chair, is just going to dial in. She's having some connection issues with her audio.
Yes, and she asked me about the minutes, which I'm trying to go back and forth between screens to do that. And I don't think I'm going to be successful because I normally don't read the minutes. Yeah, that'll just totally mess me up. I'm going to say no. I'll just email everybody the minutes that wants them. Okay.
And thank you for all for participating. And there are others who are on here that are participating as well. They're in their apartments. I can see them on their.
Well, let me try something else. What I didn't want to do. What I'm doing is I've got the agenda up on my computer and I'm trying to type in the agenda. So when she asked, and normally I don't read the minutes, so I didn't have the minutes already printed out. So I'm going to try and see if I can print them out so I can read that and maintain my place on the agenda. That's what I get for trying something new. Yeah, because every time I move and change screens, I lose the agenda.
Kiana, unmute yourself.
She's trying to call back in. Yeah, this is really.
Okay, y'all just bear with us. This is Elizabeth Thompson, Vice Chair. Kiona is going to try to send us the things that we need to add to the minutes. So if you give us 2 more minutes, she's having a little technical difficulties. We'll be ready for you in a minute, okay? Everybody just make sure that, you know, your names is in the number.
Thank you, Liz. Will do.
Yep, thank you.
It says no, I was telling them just give you 2 minutes. I was like,
Yep.
Okay. I don't see it. Yeah, but I mean, you haven't.
While we're waiting for the chair to get connected up, I'm just going to do another run through with people that have dialed in on phone numbers. If you've dialed in on the phone landline and you have not identified yourself, we'd like to record your attendance so that you can get credit if you're an NPU member. So if there's anybody dialed in that hasn't already given us your name, it'd be a good time now if you'd like to unmute yourself, *6, and then give us your name and the phone number you're dialing in from. Thanks.
Deborah Pompey, making away.
All right.
Liz?
Yeah, if you could repeat that one more time, please. So we'll write it down. We've got Rhoda, our secretary.
Deborah Pompey.
Deborah Pompey. Wonderful.
Deborah Pompey, Making Away Housing.
All right, great.
Oh, and I was asking Liz, since Kiona, before she left, she asked me to read the minutes. And since I don't typically read them, I had a hard time finding them. But I found the minutes. Would you like me to read them? Oh.
Yeah, go on, Rhoda. Just go on and read the minutes.
Okay. Okay. The last thing we had was August 25th. It was a virtual general body meeting at 7 p.m. The meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. and opened with a few trivia questions about NPU. The winners received gift cards. January, June, and July minutes need to be approved by the general body. February minutes weren't mentioned. The minutes are posted on the NPU-J website. Minutes were adopted. Major Collier gave his report on wearing of masks and the water boy situation, the Airbnb, gambling, and firearms. No reports were given from the fire department or MARTA. We had a report from the Department of Public Works about illegal dumping. We had reports from code enforcement about we need to start moving cars. The district attorney said that crime is down at this point. Kira Potter was participation in a case that's paid and dismissed. They announced some food drives. The Department of Watershed says that 311 is your one-stop shop for information. Anita Harris, representing Commissioner Natalie Hall, she gave a report. There was no reports from communications. The nominating committee, environmental, education, public safety committee, saying again there were no reports from those committees at that time. Health and wellness, Ms. Uzma Khan is working on a screening for October. The zoning committee, Ben said there's more information on the website. Transportation, MARTA is being overhauled. We talked about the bylaws. Voting matters pending. They had pending more discussion and clarity. The matter of the sub area was tabled by unanimous consent. The meeting was adjourned at 8:30 p.m. Yeah, I got it. I am quite sure there are some amendments or corrections.
Any questions on the minutes? Anybody have any questions on the minutes?
I move that
You want to
be approved. I move that the minutes need to be approved.
Okay.
Can I get a second on the minutes?
Yep, this is Ben Norman, I second that.
Okay, the minutes have been moved in second. There are two, I can't move to have the approval of the agenda due to, I think Kiona had two additional items that she needed to add to the agenda and she's trying to get it. Virgil, do you have, Ben, do you have those two additional items you wanted to put on the agenda?
I do, so I make a motion that we can amend the agenda tonight that was the official agenda from the city to add details to discuss about a Presswick Properties potential development in Verbena Gardens and the North Eugenia Properties. So those are the two to add, Presswick Properties and North Eugenia Properties.
This is Virgil Penny, second.
Right.
Any questions? It's been properly moved in second. Agenda will pass as with the two corrections. Am I correct, Virgil?
That's correct. Just unanimous consent.
Unanimous consent. Okay. Next on the reports, do we have fire in the house? Anybody reporting from fire?
Because the meeting has already started. So next time.
Fire?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Captain Hampton with Battalion 2, and I actually operate out of Fire Station 38. Battalion 2 is located Marietta Boulevard, and we are a part of NPU-J. I'm representing fire department tonight. Again, my name is Captain Ray Hampton. Thank you guys for having us. We are gearing up for hydrant season. Just a few things that we have tonight. We're gearing up for hydrant season again. So you'll see us out in the neighborhoods, just checking hydrants, and making sure they are properly in service and ready to be used at any given time. We had about 782 emergency responses. There were 559 EMS responses. There were about 117 fires that were reported this year. We had about 8 hazmat calls, about 95 other types of responses. The response coverage information was within Station 16, which is on, which is off of Hollowell, and that's the last 30. That's within the last 30 days. We are also reminding you guys that it is winter time coming up very soon, so please be reminded to check your smoke detectors. I'd also like to add that we are going to be responding to calls like we always do, but please be mindful that the way we respond would be a little bit different once we enter to your houses or your cars and things like that. We are practicing social distancing, so we'll probably interview you from a doorway or a couple of feet away from you. We're not trying to not be personable with you, but of course, because of what's going on with COVID, we're having to practice social distancing, as you guys should be as well. The other thing is we're not having visitors at the fire station at this time because of COVID. If you have an emergency, please, dial 911 and we'll respond just as we always have. And I think that's going to be it from fire. My phone number, if you need me directly, is going to be 404-546-4438. And again, my name is Captain Ray Hampton, and I'm at Fire Station 38, and I represent the Battalion 2 City of Atlanta Fire Rescue. Anybody have any questions for fire at this time?
What was your number again?
404
Mm-hmm.
546
546
4438.
4438.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions for us tonight?
Hi, officer. My name is Ashley Sanchez, and I do have a question in regards to residents burning wood in the back. Are they permitted to do that in the back of their yard? Because this has happened on my street on several occasions.
In the city of Atlanta, we do not allow open burning. So if that were to happen, you can dial 911. We'll come out and speak to your neighbor. There are some exceptions. Sometimes people will burn in like a fire pit, an actual fire pit that are being sold different places, or people even make them. Those things are kind of, people try to use those, and that's kind of the exception to the rule. However, if they're out of hand, we'll let the individual know that, hey, this is out of hand, you may have to put that out, because we don't want to pose any other issues to their residents or even yours, being their neighbor. So we will go out and speak to the individuals when we do get these calls. We get these calls a lot with people burning in the city. There is we don't allow open burning in the city, so they definitely shouldn't be doing it. And we'll come out if you dial 911 to investigate it for you.
Okay, thank you for your response.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Captain Hampton.
Yes, ma'am.
You noted 500, was that 89 EMS responses?
No, ma'am, that was 559.
Okay, and the next one you said before hazmat, I didn't get that.
Hazmat calls, we had about 8 of those.
8, and then you had 1 of something else, and I didn't get what that was.
117 fire response calls.
Oh, fire response calls. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you all doing any neighborhood, I know because of the COVID, everything's kind of up in the air about what you will and won't do, but are you doing anything because of the winter with fire alarms, giving out fire alarms, or can a person call and request one, or what, is there anything particular program that's being initiated or carried on
Right, absolutely.
to that effect?
Yes, ma'am. We still do have our ASAP program in place. Of course, it's a little difficult when you're dealing with COVID. So you are able to call, or either you can go to your respective fire stations. We will talk to you, and if we have fire alarms, I'm sorry, smoke alarms to give out, we will give you one. So that's not an issue. But there's also another number that I'll give you guys. If you can't come out to a fire station, you can call. And that number is going to be 404-546-7000. Once again, that's 404-546-7000. And you can give them a call and let them know that you're in need of a smoke detector and what station you're near. And they'll ask your home address and things like that, and you let them know where you are, and we'll see that you get a smoke detector.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Were there any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys for having us. If you have any questions, feel free to call me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Zone 1 in the house? Zone 1?
Hey, good evening, NPU-J. This is Major Collier here, Zone 1. Nothing of significance to report on. However, a couple things. We did conduct a joint detail with GSP in the city of Atlanta this past Saturday in regards to the street racers. I know that's been a hot topic. We did make 139 vehicle stops and did write 121 citations, made 9 arrests, and also impounded 9 vehicles. Right now, we're currently on standby for the decision out of Kentucky. So we're getting ready for that as well here in Atlanta. And we did switch to 10-hour shifts last Thursday. This will allow us to put more officers out on the street at the critical times that they are needed. And that's pretty much all I have. As always, I left my information in the chat room. Are there any questions for me?
Major Collier?
Yes, ma'am.
I know all the questions we ask, I know probably delayed, but has there been any progress as far as APD connecting with the ring system, as far as reporting things and you all responding as a result of cooperating in that manner?
Well, we do go out and look for ring devices. I will check on to see if the department has connected with Ring. I'm not certain on that, but I will provide that, get that information and provide you with that information. Who's asking that question? I can't see who's asking.
Antoinette Sutton. I'm from Dixie Hills. And I also wanted to know, recent reports are saying that there's a high level, well, I don't guess high is the word for it, but the police is experiencing retirements and or policemen leaving the force. I think it was 36 reported during the last month or something of that sort. We get these reports from WSB News and other locations.
Right. We have.
Is this affecting our I don't ever see policemen we have seen policemen on the street, but there was a time you could see a police officer ride through maybe once or twice during the week. We never see that now in the Dixie Hills community anymore. Right. And I purposely watch for that because of the activity that's located in my area.
Right.
So has there been a difference?
Well, across the nation, there's been somewhat of a shortage of police officers. This is not anything significant to Atlanta only. We have a lot of recruits actually in different phases in the police academy right now. So we're not where we would like to be, but we're getting there. And if you have any issues in your neighborhood, please let me know. We will address them.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
We have a hand raise, Elon.
Yes, I'd like to ask Major Collier if there's anything that we can do about the loud bumping noise. I'm sure it's in all of the neighborhoods, but I'm speaking specifically about Penelope neighbors. And there are times when it literally rattles my windows. So I wondered if the noise ordinance, if it's signage available that could go up at different places in the neighborhood to alert these people that this is against the noise ordinance.
Well, I don't know about signage that can go up, but if you call us, we can come out and inform them of the noise ordinance. So please.
The only problem with that is when, oh, I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, the problem with that is, you know, you're in your house and you don't really know who it is or where they live.
Well, you can just call and have an officer check the area. And we'll be glad to do that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we let Major Collier go? Any other city representatives present?
Kim Davis, City of Atlanta Department of Watershed.
Sherry Williams, Atlanta Citizens Review Board.
Kiara Potter, Office of the City Solicitor.
Yusuf McCaskill, ATL 311.
Aaron Bostic, Councilmember Brown's office.
Okay. Watershed Management, you're up.
All righty. This is my first NPU. Just been assigned to NPU-J. Looks like it is a very involved and engaging NPU. So what I have today, just some refreshers and updates for your area. Just that the startup and testing of the 11 water supply pumps will continue through October. DWM will also continue with the excavation and pipelining of the 400-foot-long tunnel that will connect the water supply tunnel system, which will be the Chattahoochee construction shaft to the Chattahoochee water treatment plant located at 2440 Bolton Road Northwest. The connection will allow the Chattahoochee water treatment plant to receive the raw water supply directly from the tunnel and the quarry storage facility in case of an emergency. Another update, crews will continue to control blasting at the R.M. Clayton Water Reclamation Plant. All blastings are anticipated to take place between the hours of 8 to 5 p.m. and will not exceed a 1-hour blast per day. Each blast will be preceded by warning signals that will last for a few seconds. You might feel a slight vibration in your home or business that is in close proximity of the tunnel. However, no damage is expected. Update on the Upper Proctor Creek Capacity Relief Project, Rodney Cook Senior Park in Historic Vine City. I'm sorry, that's for NPUL, so that's not you guys. And we also want to remind everybody, as we are in COVID time, No wipes in the pipes. I know your packaging may say disposable. It is disposable, that it will go down the toilet, but it's not biodegradable. So that is causing our wastewater side. We're having that to become a growing issue for us. So as again, the packaging says disposal, of which it is, but it's not biodegradable. And that's all that I have. If you have any questions. All right. Well, thank you, NPU-J.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Is Felicia Moore still on? Is Councilmember Felicia Moore still on?
I am here.
All right, we're gonna break up this agenda a little bit to let us say she has a 7:30 meeting, just to let us say a few words.
I'm going to be here for a few minutes, but I didn't want to stay too long without saying hello. I put all my information, hi Sherry, and everyone else. Good to see you all. I put all my information in the chat, so I won't have to repeat that, my contact information, but I do want to repeat one piece, and that is that the census is going to be up on September 30th. The president moved it up. It's truly, truly important for you. If you have not filled out your census, do so. Mail in the information you have, if you still have it sitting around on your coffee table at home, or go online and fill it out. It takes less than 5 minutes, probably about 3. But it's really important to your city because we want the federal dollars so we can serve you. We want the state dollars. It has to do with who represents you on the council, on state level, on the federal level. There's so many things that the census provides. And so we're really, really behind. And I'm just urging you to make sure you and everyone in your household and everyone you know fill out that census. And of course, following the COVID precautions. Please be safe. Understand that the age group between 19 and 29, they are not following the precautions. I see them out. I know they're doing their thing. If you have those people in your life in that age range, check in with them and see where they've been and tell them to wear a mask when they're around you, because we don't want to continue to spread them, particularly in the African-American community. So anyway, those are my comments, but I wanted to make them quick in case you all have some questions of me without taking up a lot of time. No one has any questions? I was that good, huh? All right, well, thank you so much. I'll be around for a few more minutes, and call me if you need me, email me if you need me, and follow me on social media. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time and all that you do for the community. All right, next up, Atlanta 311. Is Atlanta 311 available? ATL 311?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
We got
Great. Excellent. Good evening, everyone. So as with some of the other folks that have reported out, nothing really new or different going on from our end. I will post our contact information in the chat a little bit later. I'll just point out that the council member mentioned about COVID-19. If you guys would like to receive COVID-19 related text notifications, you can receive those from the city. Just text ATL Strong to 888-777. And I'll just remind you that for all things COVID-19, you can visit atlstrong.org. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. Has the time for pickups been shortened? They were about 2 months out. Is it any better now?
Are you referring to bulk pickups?
Yes, bulk pickups.
Yes, we actually have added some contractors on to try and speed things up. So the time frame has actually decreased a little bit. So when you call in, you should potentially see some faster times in terms of the appointments that should be available.
Yes, can you give me the ATL Strong number too?
Yeah, you would just text ATL Strong to 888-777.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Madam Vice President?
Yes, ma'am.
Liz, I
Yes,
see in
ma'am.
the chat where Dustin Hillis is asked to speak. Did you get that?
Yes, ma'am. I was putting him up
Cause he
just as
has
soon
a
as 311,
7:30 meeting.
as soon as 311
All right.
is done.
Thank
So
you.
now, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Dustin Hillis.
Yes, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. Just wanted to mention a few things. One, we are still offering, partnering with Fulton County Corps and Springfield Missionary Baptist Church at 1730 Hollywood Road to offer COVID-19 testing on Saturdays. So the upcoming dates for that are September 26th, and then October will be the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, and the 31st. And that's from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. again at Springfield Missionary Baptist Church at 1730 Hollywood Road. And another mention outside of NPU-J, but if you travel north on Bolton Road, if you haven't noticed already, Bolton Road is going to be closed every weekday this week through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. while CSX replaces some bridge beams on the train overpass right before Marietta Road. So if you need to go north on Jackson and Hollywood and then onto Bolton, please find another route or you will be delayed and made to take a very long detour. Lastly, just wanted to again feel like being a bit repetitive here, but as you all know, we had 2 pedestrian deaths again on Hollowell that were just a few days apart from each other a couple weeks ago, and they were almost right on the 1-year anniversary of 14-year-old JJ Wallace's death last year. So as many of you already know, we got together with a GDOT last year in September, October, and did some pedestrian counts, and they finally agreed to justify those pedestrian crossings. They agreed to put 3, and between the on the 1 mile stretch of Hollowell between Jackson Parkway / H.E. Holmes over to Wood Street. That 1 mile stretch has 0 crosswalks. Currently, they've agreed to install 3. However, I'm not really digging their timeline, so to speak. What they have told me is the first one that will go up will be the one near Johnny B. Moore high rise near Center Hill Avenue. And that is going to be, that is the quicker one. That's going to be hopefully constructed in early 2021. But the other 2 apparently require a good amount of right-of-way acquisition, enable GDOT to construct them. So they're telling me those are still a few years out. So I'm begging and pleading with GDOT and asking for help from the community to reach out to GDOT, reach out to your state senator and state representatives to ask them to please expedite this, because the past 10 years we're averaging 2 to 3 deaths on Hollowell per year, and that's taking that long to put up some pedestrian crosswalks is basically agreeing that we're okay with having a handful more pedestrian deaths, and that's unacceptable. Of course, the crosswalks are not going to be the magic bullet that solves everything. The long-term solution that myself and Commissioner Rowan agree on and trying to get GDOT to accept is somewhat of a road diet, although the throughput would likely be the same, but the road could be designed to make people just go slower, because most of these pedestrian deaths, speed is a contributing factor. For example, I believe the lady that hit JJ was traveling somewhere in the mid to upper 60 mile per hour range. Speed limit on Hollowell is 35, 45 in some spots. I have asked Atlanta Police Department and Major Collier and the traffic unit to step up patrols. This went all the way up to the chief, and they have told me they're stepping up those patrols to get people to slow down and pay attention, so we can hopefully curb these pedestrian deaths. So again, know that I'm
being an advocate for this, and I'll just ask you as community members to also reach out to people at the state. As we know, this is a state highway and everything has to go through GDOT. So just begging and pleading for your help. And I have time to take a couple questions and then have to hop off and get on this other meeting. But again, thank y'all so much for having me. And please reach out to my office or send me an email if I can help you with anything.
Councilmember Hillis?
Yes.
Can you, this is Sherry Williams. Thank you for your report. My mother lives not far from that area. And I appreciate you asking the community to overwhelm GDOT with inquiries about this, because you know, GDOT has shown us that when they want to expedite something, they will. And the prime example of that is the I-85 bridge. So if they can do that on the north side, they need to do some things for us on the south side. This is not $1 million ask. You know, this is a safety issue. So also GDOT has meetings monthly. So if people go on GDOT's website, maybe they can also flood their public comments for their next meeting also. Every month until they, you know, maybe they can do that. All of us can do that every month until they put those out there, and they'll get sick of, you know, all of the complaints.
Indeed. And another thing I'm doing to that point is bring more attention to this matter is every time I talk to someone in the media, you know, they want to call me and talk about, you know, anything. I'm like, hey, at the end, I'm like, hey, I want you to look into this and, you know, try to write a story on this, shed some more attention on the matter. It seems, you know, when there's a death, someone will write a story about it, but then it kind of falls off the radar. But we need to keep the pressure up.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hillis?
Any question?
Mr. Hillis?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Has there been any legislation passed or any ordinances put in place about this racing, this speed racing? I know that I heard the statistics that Major Collier gave about arrest and vehicle arrest. These people that are arrested, are they being charged financially for these this setting up, this happening? Because it's beginning to seem to take hold in every area, you know, of the neighborhood, where people have decided, okay, they targeting over here and over there by Jackson Parkway, wherever they're going, and they're finding other locations to start doing it. So is there any legislation being set up or passed or in process to accommodate or to deter this activity in any manner?
Yes, ma'am. And I'll address this, and then I'm going to jump off the call after this question. But my assistant Alan is on, and if there's any other questions later, he can certainly address those. So with street racing, yes, it certainly is it's a north side problem, a south side problem, a west side problem, a east side problem, a downtown problem, a Buckhead problem, a Bankhead problem. It's all over, and that's one of the problems. These people move from neighborhood to neighborhood all across the city. So the actual act of street racing or laying drag, if you will, those drivers are cited under state statutes called laying drag, and they're also cited with reckless driving. And then, of course, if they have, you know, other warrants or, you know, wanted for other traffic related matters, they can be, you know, arrested for that. The thing that we did in city council, we addressed some of the matters that state law does not cover, because we can't pass laws that the state already has laws on. It's called preemption, and the city can't do that. So the drivers are already cited under existing state law, the reckless driving and laying drag. We passed an ordinance that will allow passengers in these vehicles. You know, if you see the videos, passengers are hanging out windows, hanging out sunroofs, and they're really just as much a part of it as the drivers are. So we are allowing them to be charged under a new city ordinance against participating in drag racing, as well as organizers of these events. This is a very well coordinated effort. 200 cars just don't show up on Bankhead Highway and decide they want to, drag race. This is an organized effort. There are organizers that put these events together. The city ordinance addresses that and allows APD to charge those organizers as well. And then lastly, people that are actively participating in it, like betting money, on things with the drag racing or helping set up for the drag racing, things like that. They can be cited under the new city ordinance as well. We have addressed it really as much as possible at the city level. But if you ask me, I think the state needs to do more because the city is limited by the state as to what penalties we can enact. And really, my opinion and many others' opinion is to get this to decrease, we really have to hit them where it hurts, and that is, impounding, not just impounding, but having seizure of their cars be part of the criminal penalty. So they will lose those cars for a set amount of time. And that's something that the state will have to address. So again, thank you all. I'm going to hop off, have another meeting, but please, my assistant Alan Holmes is on the call. He can speak later. But then again, if you have any more questions, concerns, issues, please reach out to my office or send me an email, and I'll type my email in to the chat box here, just so I'm sure everyone has it. So thanks so much for having me, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dana, thank you. Dana, you still with us?
Hi, yes. Actually, I'm Dana Dotz with Councilmember Michael Julian Bond's office. And I see that he just came on, so I'm thinking he wants to speak. Councilmember Bond?
One of y'all need to come on. Come on.
I can't hear you, Michael. You're muted.
Hello. Person looking for stuff in my cars. We are also have to go together. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I just want to say good evening to everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you virtually at NPU-J. Just to add to what my colleague Dustin Hill has said, because we're really in two meetings at once, that we're very interested in looking and cooperating with the community and getting with our partners over at the state legislature to see what we can do to limit the drag racing that's been plaguing our neighborhoods and communities. It will take a push from our local state representatives to put in legislation that will allow us to stiffen penalties or even create penalties on the city level to kind of stiffen it. Now, what we were able to do a few weeks ago, and he may have mentioned this at a previous meeting or tonight, is that we were able to stiffen the penalty for those who are participating but are not the drivers. We set a pretty stiff penalty in the range of $900 to $1,000. $1,000 is the limit that the city can impose. And so we're hoping that that will act as a deterrent, as in the way of trying to take away the audience for this type of behavior. Aside from that, we have in the Post 1 at Large office have been engaging in a lot of community outreach to increase the amount of COVID testing in our community. And also we have been distributing foodstuffs, food boxes, and other supplies to families in need who are deserving. We've given out several tons of food over the last 4 or 5 months, and we'll be continuing that. We just completed This is outside of NPU-J, but we just had one on Saturday in NPU-L, where we served over 450 families. And so if you know of a family in need, if you have a community group that would like to partner, we're constantly looking to see how we can ameliorate the effects of COVID-19 in our community in any way that we can. And lastly, we'll be having 2 census events coming up before the deadline on the 29th. They are fluid and in motion. One will be over here in the west side, and we have another over in Old Fourth Ward where the registration for the census is abysmally low. So if you know someone, your neighbors, your family members, people you're passing on the street, we've got to have people register for the census. It's only 10 questions. It takes 10 minutes and it affects us for 10 years. So we want to stress that with community members and our neighbors and friends so that we can get our numbers up. Georgia, when compared to the rest of the nation, is in the bottom 2 states as far as census registration. And, God Almighty, we have just got to stop battling Mississippi for last place in this country. But aside from that, if there are any questions, I'm available to answer any, but it is a pleasure to be with you here virtually and look forward to the day when we can all safely gather again. Hello?
Thank you, sir. If y'all have any questions, the time, can we put the questions in the chat and they can answer them through the chat if at all possible? Because we're running out of time right now. So we're kind of, can we put the questions in the chat?
Yes, and Dana does from office.
I appreciate all your help.
All right, thank you. I've got to get to
Thank
the
you.
other NPU meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Can I have code enforcement on the line? Code enforcement, are you still there? Anybody from code enforcement?
Excuse me, Madam Vice President.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is Ashley, chairperson of the Bylaws Committee. I have an 8 p.m. appointment, so I have to dip out. So I just wanted to make, if I'm able to do so now, make a motion to table my presentation of the amendments that I was to present tonight.
I think I put it in the chat and Virgil can clarify. I think
Okay.
the bylaws have to be at the September meeting because we have votes for October, but Virgil can bring me clarity. So Virgil, can you give me some clarity on that?
That is true. The bylaws have to be voted on for the 2021 calendar year for the city. But any amendments that we need to do, we can still work on those. So we don't have to table those. We just need to continue to work and give notice to the body that there are amendments that we need to adjust to the bylaws. Okay?
Okay, thank you for that.
Excuse me, Madam Vice Chair, may I please be recognized?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Leah LaRue, Grove Park. Ashley, are you saying that you're not prepared to present the amendments to the bylaws, or like, is the body gonna ever get to see the amendments? Because last month we were told you couldn't share them because people hadn't reviewed them. And now it's been another month that it looks like we may not be able to see them again until October. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, that is correct. It was my understanding that the amendments that we had from our committee meeting, it was unclear. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was clear and we understood and everything was okay. Or if you would like to vote on everything as is now, I'm okay with presenting. I just have my meeting, so I didn't want to have to say I have to go and this is, kind of alienated, that's all.
Well, yeah, I mean, we clearly can't vote on bylaws in 5 minutes. That's for sure.
Correct.
I just don't
So,
understand why the body can't review the bylaws amendments. It's starting to feel something.
Okay, let me ask a question. Can you put the amendment on the chat? Can you upload them on the chat, Ashley?
oh, it's funny because
Hi,
I'm
this
on
is
my computer, so maybe if I can email them, and then I'm on my phone. I'm sorry for the meeting, and then
Great. Hi,
Hello,
this
good
is
evening.
Rhoda. I will work with Ashley on the bylaws so I can help her type them up. And maybe we can just email them to everybody so they can study them for the next meeting and then they can be able to comment. Would that be okay?
Ashley.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, madam.
This is Vice Elizabeth Thompson. Are they typed up already?
The amendments?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, they are. They do have some notes with where we discussed, and then, some things where there was still some discussion and we had ran out of time with our committee meeting. So we wanted to table it until we had another committee meeting to further discuss them and then vote on them. So I just wanted to be clear. Like I said, I'm not trying to be rude, to be honest with you, but I want to make sure that I fulfill my duty with making sure that I present it if I can and be thorough with presenting it. Or if I can't be thorough, then we can table it until whenever.
Yes,
Hello,
I just
good
don't
evening.
understand why we wouldn't present what is already agreed to. If there are parts of the bylaws that the committee hasn't come to a consensus on, why not present to the body the parts that you did come to a consensus on? Because again, this is now the second month that we have been told that we will be voting on bylaws. I believe there's a bylaws vote on our agenda. We have been anticipating amendments. I know the committee has worked on amendments because I've been at some of those meetings. And I just don't understand why it's not being shared with the body. And I'm going on the record with concerns about that.
I mean, that's concerning to me too. So, hello, good evening. Hello, this is Derek Green. How you all doing?
I'm fine. And yourself?
Derek,
All right.
talking. Derek, hold on, Derek. Leah, are you finished?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Leah?
you. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm done.
Ashley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Derek, you can go on now.
Yes, hi. I just want to make the comment that the bylaws for the current bylaws that we're under were fine.
Okay.
We can make amendments, of course. I think what Virgil, the parliamentarian, was saying is that if the bylaws that we have are already accepted by the city, we can send those in.
Okay.
We can vote as currently constituted, and then in the future, we're still working on the amendments with the committee. So the bylaws essentially are always ready. This is just a vote in for making changes for the upcoming year, and we can keep working on that. That's what the committee has decided to do, to keep working on these bylaws as we go throughout the course of the year. Of course, that means starting in October and ongoing. So there's nothing wrong with the bylaws as currently constituted. We're just updating, as we see need to update.
You said that's what the committee decided to do. So the committee took a vote to not share amendments with the body and continue the process over
the committee has not decided not to share anything. The committee is still contemplating and discussing proposed amendments.
Okay. Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, if I may, one thing I wanted to say, Derek, you said that the bylaws are fine as they are, but in March, April, and May, we could not meet as an NPU because the NPU leadership felt that the bylaws did not allow us to meet. The bylaws do not indeed mention virtual meetings, which I know the city has recommended, and we already approved, the bylaws committee approved language to address virtual meetings. So clearly there's at least something that needs to be amended in the bylaws that even the chairperson of our NPU agreed needed to be addressed. So I don't know. I'm not going to go on about this all night. I'll let it go, but I'm going on record with concern because our chairperson acknowledged that the bylaws needed to include virtual meeting language. The bylaws chairperson proposed that language. The bylaws committee, I was there when it was voted on, and I'm not really understanding why it's not being proposed, but I'll leave it alone. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Right. Real quick to address that, the mayor put out made a executive order in June to allow the virtual meetings as we, currently are having.
No,
so that's
sir.
what
No,
I have a copy of the executive order.
For NPU, sir?
Yes. For the city, period. For the city.
The NPUs are independent bodies. That executive order did not have anything to do with NPUs. All of the NPUs had the ability to meet in March, April, and May. And in fact, almost all of them did meet in March, April, and May. But again,
okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to do a point of order. This is Virgil, the parliamentarian. Be mindful of decorum. All questions need to be asked to the presiding officer so that we don't get in a personal debate.
Agreed.
The discussion is just whether we should present the bylaws today. It appears that the committee chair has an obligation that's somewhere else, and I guess we'll just proceed from there. I don't know if Kiana is presiding or is Liz presiding. Which one is presiding?
I'm presiding.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Madam Vice Chair, what I, since I'm already late to my engagement, what I am willing to do is if, I guess we can get a motion. There were some amendments that were agreed without a discussion. So I am more than happy to at least present those amendments to the body for those that were basically simple and it didn't require further discussion, or some of the committee members didn't have any questions in regards to these.
Go on, Ashley.
Madam Vice President, Madam Vice Chair, this is Cheeto, planner for the NPU. And I just wanted to put a note that I was going to talk about this in my planner's report. The bylaws are due to the city September 30th. So that's something important for you all to know.
Mm-hmm. That's why I just told her to present the amendments.
Okay. Would you like for me to present all of them or just the ones that I said that we agreed without further discussion?
I think you need to present all of them, Ashley.
Okay. All right. So there is for Article 3, Section 1, the problem statement reads, while the bylaws do state that each member has only one vote, they do not clearly state that each individual can only vote once, even if they hold more than one membership, i.e. representing a business and also having a residence as well as a business. So our proposed solution is that no person, corporation, organization, institution, or agency who qualifies as a member on more than one basis shall have more than one vote on any single item. Second article, Article number 4, Section 1.
Okay, I'm sorry, Ashley. We didn't really cover this. This is Virgil. So after each proposed amendment, you're supposed to allow a question and answer on that particular amendment so that you can so that the body, if it wants to add additional comments or amendments to what we've amended, this is their time to do. We would consider this a first read because apparently no one else has seen it. So the vote on those amendments we would have to do later. But my concern is if we're presenting amendments that need to be changed currently, we still have an obligation to the city to vote on bylaws. And each one of these amendments have to be voted on separately and debated separately if anyone has a comment. And we may be running long on time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm not the one to make the final decision. The chair or whoever's presiding needs to kind of rein that in and say what we're actually doing. Are we doing a first read so that we can notify everybody of the changes? And then we would vote on the changes at the subsequent meeting? And are we voting for the bylaws currently that are in place right now for the city? So those are two questions on the table that the chair or the presiding officer needs to answer.
Okay, Virgil, they're gonna use a first read and then we'll vote on the bylaws as is.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Is that clear?
Excuse me. This is Officer Parham. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am.
Because I'm still was holding to do my presentation. Can I just leave my name and number if you guys have any questions for me? To text me or call me with
Fine, just
any
put it in
concerns
the
that you
chat.
have with.
Officer Parham, you can put it in the chat. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you for all you do.
And this is Sherry with the Atlanta Citizens Review Board. I put all my information in the chat.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
I'll try to
Thank
hang
you for all you do.
I'll try to hang on. So I just want to let you know the information's there.
I thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Virgil?
Yes, ma'am.
Virgil,
Yes.
are we okay? Okay,
I'm
thank
not
you.
sure now
Ashley,
because we need to see where we are as far as the agenda, because we have orders of the day. We have presentations before old business, then we have new business. That's when we vote on the 2021 bylaws. So are we just doing a first read in a committee report for the amendments that we would like to make when we vote on them? Is that where we are?
That's where we are, Virgil.
Okay, so I want the body to be aware of that. Thank you.
Okay, that's where we are.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Madam Vice Chair, I apologize. I would like to get a commitment from the Bylaws Committee Chairperson that the members of NPU-J will receive a copy of the amendments that are being discussed by the Bylaws Committee, whether they have been voted on or not. If I need to make that in the form of a motion, I will. Whatever.
Leah, let's just let her read first and then we'll go from there, okay? If that's possible.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So Ashley, so you can get out of here and then we can do that afterwards with comments.
Okay, no problem. As it states, Article 4, Section 1, NPU-J has a longstanding practice of deferring to the affected neighborhood for a motion on voting on a voting item. This is not solidified in the bylaws and therefore can change. The proposed solution is NPU-J shall afford the first opportunity of making a motion on zoning, alcohol license, or special events permits to the affected neighborhood. Article 4, Section 8. The current nomination process is private, unclear, and creates an opportunity for exclusion. Methods of nomination could be more open, transparent, and representative. Proposed solution is one, bylaw should clarify whether candidates for office can be officers in the neighborhood association. 2, secretary should make available a list of eligible candidates for the office. 3, open the floor for nominations in the September meeting and add all qualified nominees to the ballot. 4, encourage nominees from each neighborhood association. And 5, clarify whether nominees can serve on the nominating committee. 5, Article 4, Section 9. Should all officers be required to live in the boundaries of NPU-J? Are people required to provide proof? What that proof is, according to Article 4, Section 3, and we can reference that. Our proposed solution is candidates for elected office must be 18 years of age or older, whose primary place of residence is within the boundaries of NPU-J. Article 4, Section 10. Officers must not be able to claim an office if they didn't complete a full term. Current language is unclear. Can officers succeed themselves more than 4? So the proposed solution is officers shall be elected for a term of 1 year beginning January 1st through December 1st, and all officers shall be elected annually. The chair of NPU-J may not succeed herself for more than 4 consecutive full terms. A full term shall be defined as 12 months. Article 5, Section 1, I apologize. There's no language that allows for virtual meetings. So the proposed solution is meetings of the general body, executive committee, and any other committees may be conducted virtually, telephonically, or in person with clearly defined proper notice at the discretion of the NPU-J executive committee. Eligible members shall be able to participate in in-person meetings virtually and or telephonically, and shall have all the rights of those attending in person, including the ability to make or second motions, vote, or comment. A minimum of 10 eligible members must be present virtually, telephonically, or in person at any duly constituted meeting in order to establish a quorum. Article 5, Section 2, NPU-J is required to mail notices to members for special called meetings. This is unnecessarily burdensome. The proposed solution is the chair or his or her designee shall provide to all members whose names are listed in the attendance records notices of such meetings via email, NPU-J website, and any social media accounts managed by NPU-J. The chair or his or her designee will make every reasonable effort to notify members who do not have email addresses by mailing or hand delivering notices or by telephone call or text message. Article 8 is just a simple spelling error from parliamentary. It's currently spelled PALIAMENTARY. We're recommending it should be obviously changed to PARLIAMENTARY. Article 9, Section 2B allows for certain amendments to bylaws to become effective at the next general body meeting. Our proposed change is that the city code states that bylaws are to be approved annually and become effective January 1st. Proposed deletion of amendments not specifically addressed in these bylaws shall become effective at the subsequent general body. In Article 8, lastly, nominating committee and executive committees are mentioned before they are defined. So just moving the section listing committees. And the last 4 that I discussed, last 5, they were agreed upon without discussion. Just to know.
Any questions?
This is Virgil, the parliamentarian. I think I have a question too, or more of a statement. I think the bylaws committee also needs to do a motion allowing the committee or whoever's going to compose the final version to make any errors and omission corrections, like moving article numbers, moving sections, removing section 3 or section 4 from the bylaws because whatever the changes that we did.
Okay.
That way we don't have to bring that back to the body, just a simple grammatical or clerical error.
Gotcha. Can that motion come from me or anyone?
It should have come from the committee, but I didn't catch it when we first met or the second time that we met. But yeah, you can present it as a motion yourself with a second and a vote.
Okay.
Ashley, before you make that motion, I assume Ashley has the floor, and I should be asking Ashley to be acknowledged, or Vice Chair, whoever I'm asking to be acknowledged, please. My hand is up. My question is, can you, as the bylaws chair, make a motion out of the bylaws committee to approve those amendments that were without issue from the bylaws committee. Obviously not motioning to approve items that the bylaws committee needed further discussion, but some of those items I can imagine, as you stated, were already agreed upon. So why would we not make a motion to approve those items now? If the body does not have a concern with that. My
I
question
don't
is,
see anything wrong with that.
Well, actually, that question should be presented to the chair. This is Virgil again. And I don't necessarily have a concern with that, but perhaps maybe notice is the concern that I have, because there should be a first read and then an opportunity to vet the amendment with questions from the body. Because the body hasn't actually seen
our bylaws don't
the work.
require that.
We've just read the work. If the body had the, I guess, revised revision so that they can compare, I probably would not have an issue with that.
Okay,
We have some people on the phone that it would be kind of hard in order for them to see where some of those adjustments would be. But like I said, the decision rests with the chair.
I would like to make a motion to first allow the bylaws committee to make any corrections or errors without any, I guess, corrections and errors without having to come back to the body for a, I guess, third or fourth time, if I'm clear with my motion.
Second.
Any objections? Well, I guess the motion carries. So we won't have to come back to the body. And I guess my second motion would be, I would like to make a motion to have the last 4 amendments that I discussed. I'm sorry, 5 that I noted that was agreed without discussion to be voted on and accepted into our bylaws.
Madam Chair, bylaws chairperson, when is the next bylaws committee meeting and when was the last bylaws committee meeting, please? Ms. Rhoda, can you mute your microphone, please? There's a lot of noise coming from your microphone.
The next meeting, I have to get with Ben to schedule, so I don't have that date and time as of today. Let me check my calendar. Sorry, I have so many meetings for the last meeting. Sorry.
You have to get with Ben to schedule the meeting? Ashley?
Yes, that's what I was told for
Yeah.
yes.
She just
All
means the Zoom. She just means the
Yes, the
Zoom
Zoom.
schedule,
Yeah.
the Zoom schedule, so she can send it out.
It appears as though our last follow-up meeting was August 18th. August 18th at 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Madam Bylaws Chair, I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do we still have an obligation to turn our bylaws in by a certain date?
Yes, we do, which is hence why I was wanting to have the vote tonight and make sure that everything was clear.
Yeah, I believe, I don't know, but I believe that's what Derek Green was alluding to. He may not have said it, the way everybody might have understood it, but he was saying that the bylaws as they are without a vote right now can be turned into the city, because what we're talking about is 2 different things, it seems. as though we're talking about when we can make our amendments and when do we have an obligation to the city to turn something in. So if that date is coming up in 8 days.
In 8 days. Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to meet that obligation. I think what he was suggesting is if we turn in our current bylaws as a repeated document from 2020 to 2021, we can continue to work on the amendments as the bylaws committee and then bring it back to the executive committee and then bring it back to the body later.
Okay.
And I thought that was one of the resolutions that we came to as a committee at one time.
Okay.
But either way, we'll have to turn something in. We'll have to turn something in by the 28th.
I just received some conflicting information, so so that's why, like I said, if we are okay with at least moving forward with the bylaws as written to meet our September 30th deadline and approving the last, like I said, 5 amendments, and then we can schedule. I'd be more than happy to schedule another follow-up meeting to follow up on the items that were appears as though still unclear to some members on our committee.
Well, can anybody hear me? I'd like to move that we turn in the bylaws as they are written so that we can meet our September 30th deadline. And I repeat, I'm making a motion that we turn in our current bylaws again so that we meet our deadline. And from October until next year, we can continually work on the bylaws. Now, instead of trying to swallow all these whole, we can just monthly work on the bylaws a little at a time until by the next year, we should have everything all ironed out.
Madam Vice Chair, I would.
Hello. Madam Vice Chair. There is a motion on the floor. Am I correct, Virgil?
Yes, ma'am. There's a motion.
You're correct. You are correct.
There's a motion.
However, hold on a second. However, the first motion on the floor made by Leo has not been seconded. So you need to clear that up. There's no second for that particular motion. And then there is another motion on the floor.
I thank you, Virgil. I don't mind withdrawing my motion so that Ms. Rhoda's motion can continue if that.
Well, Ashley had a motion too.
Oh, that's right. Ashley did. I'm sorry.
Ashley had a motion too.
I just have a question.
You're gonna withdraw your
before all of these motions go on, I have really a point of order type of question. I would like to know if Madam Vice Chair or Madam Chair of the Bylaws Committee is proposing that the members vote on bylaws that some of the members may not have seen before, just as we would be voting on amendments that some of the members may not have seen, because we cannot assume that everyone in the room who will vote on bylaws has even had the opportunity to see our existing bylaws. Just because they are here in the room does not mean that they've had the opportunity to review even the existing bylaws. So I'm asking for clarity. Is it the motion by Ms. Bronner or the recommendation by Chairperson Ashley that the body should be voting to continue bylaws that they may not have ever seen? Is that the case?
What she was asking was, she said she wanted to table the bylaws amendments at this time for another discussion at another meeting, instead of trying to vote on all tonight.
No,
I understood that right.
Point of clarification on my end with my motion.
Hello. Okay, let's go back to Miss Ashley and let Miss Ashley say what her motion is.
My motion is to vote on to if we can vote on, if the body is in agreement for us to vote on tonight, the bylaws as written to meet our September 30th deadline, and to also include the last 5 amendments that our bylaws committee has already agreed upon that don't need further discussion. We agreed in our committee that they didn't need further discussion, like for instance, the correcting a word. That doesn't need to be tabled to have further discussion. So my motion is that I'm making is to agree on the bylaws as written to meet our September 30th deadline, with including the amendments for the last 5 articles that I discussed that our committee voted and agreed upon that do not need further discussion.
Okay, I have a concern with your motion. Your motion is usually bylaws amendments need to be voted on separately, paragraph by paragraph. So by you including the last 5 amendments in your motion, I would consider that out of order, because what are those motions? And people have discussion on each one of those motions. You can't just make one big motion for all of those amendments. So either we do it one motion at a time.
NPUs have been doing that all month, literally.
I understand that, but there's also hold on a second. Hold on. The parliamentarian speaking. There's also a revised Robert's Rule of Order that just came out. It's edition 12, and in it states that that's the process that you should use, especially when you're doing revisions of bylaws that have sections being removed and added all over the place in the bylaws. So that makes it a little confusing. So that's why you vote on each one of those separately.
Okay. Well, can I first make a motion to the body if we would like to do it that way, with me presenting each article that our committee has already agreed upon in discussion, or if I would like to present a question. Is the body okay with me including in my motion so that we can vote on and approve to include? Would you all like for me to include, is it okay that I include all articles that our bylaws committee has already agreed and discussed? Or would you like for me to go line by line each article and we further discuss, open up for discussion? I honestly didn't want to hold up the meeting. And like I said, I'm already late for my appointment. So I really wanted to, like
I understand that, but that's
no,
right.
I
so,
understand. That's why I wanted to, in the beginning
so the
of
chair,
I understand.
The chair has to rule on that. But like I'm saying, each amendment, each section that you're adjusting needs to be discussed separately.
Okay.
We can't take it in one motion.
Okay.
Because what it's doing right now is it's confusing the body, because we don't know where we are in making the amendment adjustments. We don't know what paragraph, we don't know what article.
Correct.
And we don't even have it before us.
That's why when I initially started, I wanted to table this for us to kind of discuss and give time to give out. But I know that also too, with us taking this time, we have a deadline that we have to meet with September 30th.
I understand that.
And
So
I have been, we've also wanted to meet prior to this, and I wanted to prevent this discussion here that we're having, because I knew as the bylaws chairperson, we have a deadline to meet, which is September 30th. And I was presented with, we still have unclear questions, and I did not want to have this, what we're doing right now, to hold up our general body meeting, which is not fair to our general body that we have not discussed it, and we had over a month to meet, and we have not met. So I would like to either present a motion that we table all this discussion to not further hold up our meeting, our general body meeting, or if we would like to approve, I can present a motion, or someone from the floor can present a motion to move that we approve the NPU-J bylaws as written to meet our September 30th deadline, or I can make a motion to approve the NPU-J bylaws as written, with including the 4, like I said, articles without separate discussion that our bylaws committee has already agreed upon. Because like I said, it makes no sense for us to engage our body to ask would you like, is there a question on whether we need to make a spelling correction? I mean, that's just, but hey, I understand you're the parliamentarian.
Madam Vice Chair, I'd like to make a motion if all the other motions have been satisfied.
There hasn't been a second to
Virgil?
any motion presented.
Okay.
Anthony,
Okay.
there hasn't been a second.
Okay. So we still have one on the table right now, right?
No.
Yeah.
Right.
There's one
But
on the
there's
table.
no second
has
to
not
it.
been
No one
seconded.
has a second to it.
It's
Right.
seconded.
So you can present your motion.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the bylaws as written and use turn to the city, period.
Ben Norman seconds that motion.
Madam Chair, there's been a motion on the floor and a second. What say you?
There's no
We need to
any
vote.
further. It's been accepted as, I'm sorry.
You need to call a question.
I mean,
is there any
Is there a
questions?
discussion? Is there discussion on this
Is there
motion?
discussion or question on the motion?
That's why I asked, was there any question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
I asked, was there any questions? So let's vote.
Okay,
we
now
need to
I would do a hand count, please.
So this has been, just to remind everybody, to raise your hand, you'll click on the participant link. If you're in the Zoom app, you'll click on participants, and then there's a button that says raise hand. And then if you're on the phone dialed in, it'll be *9 to raise your hand.
And Madam Chair, would you repeat the motion once again so that we know what we're actually voting on, as stated?
The motion is to pass the bylaws as they are for right now. That's it. That's the motion. The motion is to pass the bylaws as they are. Everybody that say yay, raise your hand right now.
Yay.
Excuse me, I'm
Sutton.
sorry. I know we're in the middle of a vote. I just want to make sure that it is clear per the city's code of ordinances that all residents and property owners and members as defined by code have the right to vote on bylaws, whether their name says voting or not, even if it says non-voting or NV or whatever, you do have the right to vote on bylaws. I'm only interrupting to state that because I don't believe it has been stated. My apologies.
And that is correct, Leah. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. And it has to be a majority of the people in the NPU. You're correct.
I see 7 raised hands. I can't raise my hand since I'm the host. So that'll be, what, 18? I see 19. Okay, go ahead and raise your hands. Last call.
And this is Sutton.
Yes.
I can't, it won't let me raise my hand, but I'm voting yes.
Okay.
Right, and I'm on the phone, and I vote yes.
I'm sorry, who was that had a voice count? Please state your name for the record, please. This is Virgil, the
Rhoda.
parliamentarian. Okay.
I like that name. I'm Rhoda. I voted yes.
And I'm Antoinette Sutton, and I voted yes.
So there's 18 raised hands and 3 voice yeses. So that's 21 total. Yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, or Madam Vice Chair, I'm sorry, did the motion carry?
Any no's? I just got the yeses, so I gotta say no's now.
Yeah, I've lowered
How
all
many
hands.
no's?
Yeah, I've lowered all hands. If you want to vote no, raise your hand. It's *9 if you're dialed in on the phone, or click on the icon that says raise hand. I see one raised hand, one no. Or what, there's two now. All right. Last call. I see two raised hands for no. That's the official count.
Any abstentions? Any abstentions? Raise your hand.
I abstain, parliamentarian.
I abstain, Rolanda Powell.
Okay, it's 5 abstentions. Last call. All right, 5 abstentions. Thanks. So that, just to recap the count, we have 21 yays, 2 nays, and 5 abstentions.
All right. The motion carries that the NPU-J bylaws are going to be submitted to the city as stands. I would like to make a comment that with Ashley and the bylaws committee, that we do expect y'all to kind of meet regularly to get this rectified with all of the different amendments that need to be. Ashley, if at all possible, can you get us the amendments so that they can go on to the NPU-J website so the residents of NPU-J can look at them before our next meeting? Is that possible, Ashley?
Yes, Madam Vice Chair, I'd be more than happy to provide a copy of the amendments, with notes, and then also the, a copy of the bylaws as well for those that possibly don't have access, can't have access. I have no problems with that. And I do agree with your statement. So I will make attempts to do a better job with that.
All right.
Madam Chair, this is Virgil, the parliamentarian. Madam Vice Chair, this is the parliamentarian, Virgil.
Yes,
I just want to reiterate something from Ashley. Ashley and the committee has done a great job. There are a lot of things that need to be presented, but to present them without proper notice is a challenge now because of COVID. So that's probably one of the things that we are running into. And also, the biggest change is we got a new Robert's Rule of Order manual right in the middle of this. And they clarified some things as far as how we nominate candidates, as well as how we make adjustments and amendments to our bylaws. That's why there's just a little bit of this kind of confusion. So we want to step back, take our time, make sure that we give notice to the body so that the body knows exactly what's going to be voted on, so that they can read it, make adjustments, amendments, and then vote. And then we have our revised bylaws. Thank you.
And Madam Vice Chair, I'll just make my last point before I, depart. I appreciate your time for allowing me to speak out of the agenda order. So I do want to make that clear. I appreciate that because this wasn't something that you had to accommodate. Secondly, I will make an additional attempt to make sure that we can meet regularly and make sure that make sure that we are in agreement to provide proper notice. Just scheduling conflicts with, some of the committee members, it just kind of makes it a little bit difficult. But I do understand and I do agree. So we'll just make a better attempt at, making sure that proper notice can be given. We just have to define what proper notice is. I mean, a month, that's a little beyond time. So thank you for your time, Madam Vice Chair, and you all have a good night.
Thank you for all you do, Ashley. We really appreciate your hard effort, and we do appreciate everything that you have done. I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. Karen, are you still here from Council Member Antonio Brown's office? Because we have to get back onto the agenda. Karen? Karen Bosnick, are you still here?
Madam Vice Chairman, I think Perrin put something in the chat and he left.
Yeah,
when we were
he
having a
dropped.
discussion.
Yeah, he dropped. I don't see him on.
Okay. Do we have any other elected officials that need to say, well, let me go back. Do we have any city departmental representatives that need to say anything? Any of them? Okay.
I'm 88 Brandon Pierre, your Zone 1 community prosecutor. I will forego my time for today in the interest of time. And I just want to say that we are creating a lot of pre-arrest diversion programs in our office so that individuals can go straight to those programs as opposed to the system. But thank you so much. I'll stay on because I'm still your neighbor and I'm still a voting member. But in the interest of time, that is all I have for today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Any other comments from any elected officials that's online right now? Any comments from any elected officials that's on time right now? Online. Nobody? Committee reports. Let's go on with committee reports. Okay, we got bylaw committee communications. Do we have anything from the communications committee? Anything from communications? Education committee? Anything from the education committee?
Hi, this is Anissa Dahl. We do have some information, but for the lack of time, I'm just going to get with Kiana to send this information out via email. But we are working with Councilman Brown on some things to come into the community in the next few days, probably a week or so, to provide resources to the members and the neighbors of the community about COVID, as well as home ownership, food pantries, that type of information. So we do have some things that are in line, but we're just waiting on the follow-up from Councilman Brown's office.
Okay, thank you very much for all you do, Anissa. Appreciate you. Economic development. Do we have any updates for Economic Development Committee?
No, not at this time.
Environmental.
Report. Hey, I'm sorry, this is Virgil. I'm going to report for the Parks Committee. Yes, we need to meet before the city does its CDP. I'm going to send out information to all the neighborhood department heads that are over your beautification or over your park division that we need to do some brainstorming, but you'll look for that the first week of October. I had a whole report, but due to time, I just had to shrink it. So just watch out for an email. Thank you. And there's also no police report.
Okay. Finance, anything with finance? Health and Wellness Committee?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi,
everybody. Yes. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm going to keep it very short. I've got a few dates that we are doing some work in NPU-J. First of all, October the 5th, Georgia Prostate Cancer Coalition is hosting a high priority global U.S. public health advocacy leadership press release and a roundtable discussion, which will be live streamed. The link will be provided to Ben, and so he can post it on our website and our Facebook. From 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Zoom link will be provided as well. On the 7th of October, we have Wellness Wednesday coming up. Dr. Peter Glegg, who will be speaking on different health issues and majorly on telehealth and all the legalities that are attached with telehealth. Also on the 7th of October, Fulton DeKalb Hospital Authorities, who are the owners of Grady Hospital, they are having their 9th virtual annual summit, and the topic is violence. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Again, all the links, all the information you guys will see very soon before the end of this week. I will give it to Ben so he can go ahead and post it. I think some bits and pieces I've given already, so you guys will see it very, very soon. On the 31st of October in NPU-J, Georgia Prostate Cancer Coalition brings free screenings for the community. And the screenings that, as of now, the screenings that are confirmed are blood pressure, COVID-19 test screenings, PSAs for prostate cancer, nutrition counseling, and as of now, these are secured and confirmed. The location, the timing, all will be provided very soon. By the end of this week, we should have this information on our website and on our Facebook page. And that's about it. Any other questions, guys? Feel free to reach me. Working hard, trying to bring you guys whatever I can, health related. Thank you.
Uzma, thank you so much for everything you do. We appreciate everything you bring to our community. We appreciate you so much. Health and Wellness Committee, anything from health? Oh, you just did Health and Wellness. Nominating Committee. Nominating Committee.
Nominating Committee is on. We ready. I have a shared screen that Ben is going to enable me to do. I wish I could say that I have a very brief report, but on next month, we are scheduled to be voting. So it is essential that we cover this on tonight. I presented it to the executive board on September the 14th. Members of the nominating committee are listed as you see above. What we want to present tonight is the slate of current officers in open position for the general body to receive and accept nominations from the floor. So here's what we currently have. For the chair, Kiana Jones Green, position is open. She is not desiring re-election. Vice Chair, Elizabeth Thompson. I did not speak directly to, but she's on the line. My understanding is the position is open, not desiring re-election. To be re-elected, Secretary Rhonda Spence, open. Vice Secretary Antonetta Sutton. Treasurer Patricia Roberts, open. She served in terms of the number of terms. And then Parliamentary Virgil Penny. Here's what we are asking. Nomination must be in writing.
Mr. Elgin?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is Antoinette. You can list me as open.
Okay.
Not
okay.
desiring to serve.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
yes.
Please forgive me for interrupting.
No problem.
All right.
But open for Vice Secretary. Here's our process. The nomination must be in writing with nominee contact and information available. There is a nomination eligibility list available per the committee. If you're not sure who you're nominating, as to whether or not they are available. The deadline to receive the nominations from the floor is October the 6th, 2020. That will enable the committee to do its due diligence. So everyone has that opportunity to make your nomination, but in writing, not per a telephone conversation, anything of that nature. We're asking that you would send it to Miss Tony Sutton, and her email is there, tony2tough@yahoo.com, and then CC me. When we receive them, we have 3 questions we want to give each candidate in each position. We've selected per the committee 2 people that have been assigned to follow up to put that information in a consolidated format for the committee to review. The deadline for that committee is October the 13th, so that we can have slate and the entire ticket available for the general body executive board meeting and the general body meeting for October for voting. Ultimately, what I'm trying to accomplish is, I know the bylaws and I know Robert rules in terms of nominating from the floor. I want to be able to present between starting tonight and up until October the 6th, the opportunity for those who want to participate in being an officer to allow the committee to do its due diligence by nominating yourself and or that person before then. And we will get them those questions in a timely manner to respond and put that information together and be ready to present for our October meeting. Do I have any questions? We're trying to be open, trying to be inclusive, trying to be as transparent as possible, but that's the process.
I wanted to know if I could make a motion for the 3 meetings that weren't held in March, April, and May to count towards membership attendance and voting.
I think we decided we would use 2020 attendance as the official attendance record for voting. Now, would that answer what you're asking me without a vote?
I guess what I'm trying to understand is, when does the 2020 session start? Is that not January?
January.
Right. So what I'm asking is for the March, April, and May that there was no meetings held by the NPU, for those meetings that were not held to count as attendance for people's voting, for the minimum three attendance meetings to count for voting.
We can bring the parliamentarian to answer that. Virgil, are you there?
I'm sorry, everybody. I had to walk away for just a second. Yes, I heard your motion. That is a valid motion, but it has to be seconded. And I think a vote at this time may not be in order. Maybe we should bring that up under new business since we're in the committee report. I know that we just did a motion for the 2021 bylaws. So the chair would have to rule on that as far as if she is entertaining motions for your subject matter so that we can bring before the body.
Does that answer your question?
Tobias.
Yes.
Tobias,
Okay.
can you bring it up under new business when we get through with this? I mean, because I have a question of, normally the nomination committee comes up with a slate and then the following people come up with, then we get motions from the floor. So are we changing our procedure?
I can wait.
Because we have a slate that the nomination committee comes up with for chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. So we are not doing that now. We're going to get everything.
We're doing it simultaneously. We're doing it both. What I'm trying to do is eliminate as much as I can without totally eliminating nominations from the floor on the night of. We can do it on the night of by Robert's rule, but I'm trying to not be there if as much as possible.
I understand that, but I think the body should know who the nominating committee that have come up with who was nominated for chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer now, because now we're asking them to vote on October 20th, I guess it is, whatever that date is, without knowing what your recommendations have been. We need to know the recommendations from the
recommendation is per the current slate and those who decided not to. So beyond that, we are soliciting those who desire an opportunity to run for office and be a part to provide that information.
So the nominating committee don't have any recommendations at this time. Is that what you're saying? Besides with the current,
That would be that's our recommendation. Yeah.
okay. Because I know Kiona has already stated that she's not looking for reelection.
Right.
She said that at the last executive meeting.
I agree. I was on the meeting.
Okay, so nobody has talked to me, so I don't think that that's, Rhoda, are you looking for reelection?
I stated that as well. I stated that before I said it. I just received word otherwise, but I did state it that I did not speak to you. And I'm the one responsible for speaking to the current officers. But you certainly have the opportunity at this present time to acknowledge your desire to continue or if not.
Okay. Rhoda, you've spoken to Rhoda already, am I correct?
I spoke to everybody else on there except you.
Okay, all right. Does anybody else have any questions regarding this at all?
I did try to raise my hand, but I don't know if you were able to see it, Madam Chair. May I ask Reverend Elegant a question, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Elegant, for this. I did have at least one question, and then I had a question to Tobias's motion, but I can wait until the appropriate time as deemed by the vice chair. Are you when in your explanation, were you saying that you are not accepting nominations from the floor today, or that we have to wait?
No, I'm saying it starts today. It
So
starts today.
We can make a nomination from the floor?
Yes, but here's what yes, it's starting today.
Make a nomination.
Hold on. Hear the whole thing, please. Hear the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It starts today, but we're asking that you would make it in writing with the contact information of the person that you're nominating.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes, sir, that makes sense. I would like, though, for my neighbors to know for the record who I plan to nominate in writing. And I will submit that as follows here. I'm jotting down the email address right now. I will submit in writing a nomination for Liz Thompson for chairperson. I will submit in writing a nomination for Rolanda Powell for vice chair. I will submit in writing a nomination for Ashley Sanchez for secretary. And I will submit in writing a nomination for Tim Cook for treasurer, and Virgil Penny for parliamentarian.
And I certainly accept it and I appreciate it, but what we're trying to do, one, for the sake of time, and two, just for the sake of being transparent, is to go ahead and do it in writing. But I thank you for acknowledging it. And if you were to put it in writing, we'll make it happen. And it's open from the floor for everybody. That's all. I'm just trying to, do what I can to make the process as smooth as possible without any question of transparency and integrity.
Understood, sir. Thank you for that. My only concern, though, was that this means that we don't find out who is on the ballot until.
Oh, they will be on the ballot. Who you nominate will be on the ballot.
I know. What I'm saying is that we don't know who is on the ballot until it's time to vote next month. That's when we find out who is on the ballot in each of these categories. So I just wanted my neighbors to know, at the very least, who I am nominating to be on the ballot for next month. Thank you very much for your time and for your effort. I know that is not easy work. None of this committee work is easy work. So thank you very much. And thank you to the committee.
No, thank you. Thank you. We just want to respect the due diligence of the committee, and we're going to do everything we can. And we appreciate your cooperation in advance. And, it's 9 and we were on last to present. So we still here.
Reverend Elegant, this is Dahl. I just have a quick question. I was trying to ask my question prior to. I sent Ben a link of an application that I would like for us to utilize for voting since we are now virtually. And I think that would provide us a report that can be incorporated into any other documents that we need to submit for legal purposes of who voted, how they voted, and everything. So I just wanted to put that out there. The link is out there to Ben, so I'll send that to you later.
I think we discussed it. I forwarded it, and I certainly appreciate you sending it. And the committee did discuss it, and we shared it with the executive board.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all so very much.
There's
Thank
one
you,
more.
Rev.
There's one.
Any
There's
other
yeah. There's one more hand raised.
Okay.
Yeah. Moto G Styles, whoever that is with the hand raised. Okay, I guess we can move on. Sorry.
That finished my presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Madam Vice Chair, this is Virgil, the parliamentarian. Just a reminder that it's 9 o'clock.
Okay, we need a motion to extend the meeting, am I correct?
That's correct.
Can I have a motion to extend our meeting for 30 more minutes so that we can get through everything we need to get through?
Motion to extend the meeting.
Ben Norman seconds.
This is Tim Cook. I'll second it.
Motion then second. Can we
Madam
vote
Chair,
all yay?
yeah.
Can we, everybody raise their hand if they're voting yay to extend the meeting for 30 minutes? Ben, clarify how they vote, how they raise their hand.
Yeah. If you use the application, there's underneath the participants box, you would click raise hand. And then if you're dialed in, you would do *9. Okay, all the hands raised. All right, we count. We have 18 raised hands that say yay.
All right, can I have nays now? Any noes? If you had your hand raised, please lower your hand.
One hand raised for no. Okay. Madam Vice Chair, I think, yeah, we just had the one no.
Any abstentions? You got anything, Ben?
Two abstentions.
Motion carries that we extend the meeting 30 minutes. So that means we gotta press hard. Y'all know that, right? Public Safety Committee, you're up. Anybody from Public Safety?
There's no report from the Public Safety Committee for the sake of time.
Thank you. Transportation? Any reports from Transportation Committee? Zoning, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, we have the voting matters at the end, so if it's okay, I'd like to request that we'll just move my zoning review to after the planner's report when we do the voting matters.
Okay, planners report.
Hello, this is Cheeto. I just have a few comments to make, a few reports to make. The city work has begun to work on the comprehensive development plan for 2021. And so I can have more information about how that will be involving the NPUs and all. NPU University will be doing a CDP class. It'll be coming up soon. So just keep updated on the NPU University website. And the next thing is that the mayor's office is still not accepting special event applications. So that, you know, because of the stay-at-home order. And then election body is being offered, is available for NPUs for upcoming elections. And that's all that I have. Any questions? Hello?
No questions.
All right. And then I can go ahead and talk about Z2007 if you're ready for that.
Sure.
Which is a voting matter.
Yep. Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and move into the voting matters now. So that'd be great. I will share my screen just to pull that up on screen, and then you can go ahead and talk about it.
I'll come back with you and get it curled for my birthday.
Thank you, Ben.
You gonna keep it for your birthday?
Okay.
Okay.
Can I go ahead and?
Yes, go ahead. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So Z2007, this is a substitute ordinance, a vote on a substitute ordinance. This was voted prior, voted prior in June, I believe, June of this year. And then there were recommendations to add 2 more districts to the ordinance by the commissioner. And so that's why it's coming back for vote again. And just as a reminder, in June, it was approved by the board, but the ordinance is a substitute ordinance for a vote, substitute paper to include R4 and R4A zoning districts in an ordinance that requires the development of single-family detached dwellings to go through a special use permit process that are on landlocked lots. So these are lots that don't necessarily have access to a right-of-way, and they're landlocked, and currently they are permitted sort of by right. And there has been, this is a ordinance by Commissioner Metzing-Kurt. I hope I said that right. This has been this is an ordinance by the commissioner to have this properties that are landlocked to go through a SUP, a special use permit process, so that the NPUs can view it and it can go through the ZRB for approval for development on those lots in the R1, R2, R3, R4, and R4A districts. Any questions?
This has been the zoning chair. So just to clarify, before we did not have any of this particular instance in NPU-J. Is that still the case?
Well, no, this is no longer the case, because before it was only R1 through R3,
okay.
But then now including R4 and R4A, I believe NPU-J has R4 and R4A districts.
Okay, correct. All right. So this now affects us, where before when we as the NPU passed, it did not really affect us, but now it does. So I guess, you know, I'll make a motion. So I'm gonna make a motion out of committee that we accept this, but we can of course open it for debate, and I'll need a second because we did not really have a chance to dive into this into the committee because we weren't really sure at the time when we met 2 weeks ago what the difference was. So I'm gonna make a recommendation that we accept it, but it's going to be open for discussion. And as we discuss it, you know, the body is welcome to deny that motion if it's when we vote on if it's seconded. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All right, second. Thank you, Rhoda. All right, so now we'll open it for discussion. Just to clarify, Cheeto, by passing this, what it will force to do is if a homeowner's trying to do this, it'll have to come before the NPU for us to review and approve or deny that individual property's request, correct?
Yes, and also subsequently go to the ZRB.
Okay, very good. Any other discussions? Anybody want to chime in? Any reason why they would not want this sort of change on a property to come before the NPU and the boards? All right. I'm going to call to question. Let's take a vote. The motion on the floor is to approve this ordinance Z-20-07. All in favor of approving it, please raise your hand using the raise hand feature, or if you're dialed in on the phone, it's *9. Okay, everybody had a chance to raise their hand? All right, I'm going to count. We have 9 yays. Let's see, we got one more. Hang on. All right, we have 10 yays. All right, we'll lower all the hands. Anybody, any nays? Raise your hand. It'll be *9 if you're dialed in. All right, I see one raised hand for nay. I'm gonna lower the hands. Any abstentions? Raise your hand.
Ben, this is Virgil. I abstain.
Thank you. And I abstain as well. So I have 7 abstentions. So the motion carries. So, all right, thank you very much.
And then the second matter for voting. This is an ordinance to adopt the Atlanta Beltline Sub-Area 9 and 10 Master Plan, the Atlanta Beltline Sub-Area 9 and 10 Master Plan update to amend the 2016 Atlanta Comprehensive Plan by incorporating by reference said plan for other purposes. And I believe there was discussion last week, last meeting, and a representative from the Beltline was in attendance, and I think, yeah.
Yep. Yes. Thank you. We've actually had a couple of meetings on this. We did a joint meeting with NPU-G and NPU-J, where Lynette Reed, who's actually on the call now, and Rodney Milton did a presentation. And then we also had our zoning committee meeting a couple of weeks ago, where they came and talked to us as well, and we did a further deep dive. Before I turn it over to Lynette, she can talk more about it and answer any questions. I do just want to say that the recommendation coming out of committee is to approve this text amendment, but with the following conditions. It's leading up to and for 1 year after the groundbreaking of the trail, the Atlanta Beltline shall organize multiple NPU-J co-sponsored public presentations and QA and one-on-one consultation sessions regarding how to take advantage of the new opportunities for existing residents and small business owners, entrepreneurs during the introduction of the Atlanta Beltline to the neighborhoods. All right. So I'll
Okay.
turn it over to Lynette.
Sure, and I'll be incredibly brief because we've been before you in July and August, and I feel like I'm family at this point. I do want to just kind of highlight a couple of things, just kind of reminders. I'm sorry, and now my computer is not showing. Hold on. So again, just to kind of highlight that the sub-area plan, we were in the process of updating it actually. It was 10 years old, like you mentioned. And just for clarity, I just wanted to kind of show the boundaries of it. So for sub-area 9, which you guys are probably closest to, you share a border with sub-area 10. This is the boundary, the northern boundary is West Marietta Street, Donnelly Hollowell. In this area, the Donnelly Hollowell is the northern boundary for sub-area 10. But I do want to kind of go into reminders of what the plan does. The plan is a policy tool to preserve what's important to the neighborhood, but also to manage and guide future growth. So it looks at land use, what parcels should be used as, mobility, how do we connect as pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicular traffic, open space, affordable housing. That was a lot of the discussion that we had a couple of weeks ago. We brought in our housing team, historic preservation and arts and culture. The idea of these plans is that all of these recommendations are lifted up to specific teams to help manage. I am the manager of all the sub-area plans. And we've had great discussions throughout the community. Some of the things that we've heard that we'll be making sure that the document reflects is to make sure that we're clear about what affordability is. And we know in the conversation that we had with you is that if someone's spending more than 30% of their income on housing, then they're cost burden, right? We talked about linking all of the affordable housing recommendations. We've had conversations with something almost to like it was addressed in your condition, which is putting a network together or resources and supporting the neighbors so that they understand how to benefit from some of the activities that's occurring, as well as more job training, how to better improve your quality of life type of programming. So those are all the recommendations that have been coming through that we are incorporating. And so I'm just happy to be here and to entertain any further questions.
Thank you. We have any questions? Anyone want to comment?
I just have one question, and it's for you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
The motion out of the committee does not need to be seconded. Is that correct?
It normally does not, but this one is something I put together before the meeting today. We did not vote on this as a committee. Okay. So I do need a second on this particular one because it technically, it's a recommendation that I told everyone I would work on, but they did not get a chance to vote on it out of committee technically. So I would need a second on this.
I would be happy to second, except I don't vote on zoning items. So I apologize that I can't.
Do I have another second?
This is Tim Cook. I'll second it.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
All right. Any other discussion? Okay, the only thing I'll add is, and this is for you, Lynette. I know there's a lot of information on the internet related to the Beltline. There's a lot to digest. It looks like there's a lot of programs you guys offer, but what we're asking for with this special condition is how do we customize that for our particular NPU and co-sponsor with us in the NPU-J through our network of getting information out, and let's really let our existing residents be able to take advantage of these wonderful opportunities.
Sure, and I'm happy to work with you. I know you also know Kara Cooper, who leads our economic development team currently, and we'll be in touch and figure out and work together on how to make that happen.
Okay, great. All right. So I'm gonna call the question. Everyone in favor of approving this text amendment?
There's a question in the chat.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. What was the question? Does Atlanta Beltline have any voice in the developer's petition to turn areas from emergency? So that's a good question, and I'll recap it. He said, does Atlanta Beltline have any voice when developers petition to turn areas from mid-density to high density? Yes, we are considered a stakeholder just like the neighborhood. And so ultimately, though, the city has zoning authority and they have the authority as it relates to land use. But if there is something that, a project that comes through and we have an opinion on it, we do have that right to make a recommendation. We get copies of the zoning cases just like the NPU does, and it's on us to review and to determine whether or not we have a comment on those cases.
Ben, I put a question in your chat, but I thought it was
right.
for everyone. I'm sorry.
Okay, and then the next question we have is how can we partner with education on this as well?
That's
the
a good
education resource part.
I'm sorry, repeat that once more.
How can the NPU partner with the education and the resources for the community, the people that lives within the community, since the Beltline is, entering in the sub area?
Right. So I think there's probably two ways to answer that. I think it's definitely making sure, as you probably already doing, is connecting with your board, school district board person as well. We have the Atlanta APS representative that sits on our board as well. We are happy to partner and have those conversations any way we can to make sure that parents are aware of resources, et cetera. In terms of if we're able to do something specifically in the education realm, we have to take the partner route because we really have a real clear mandate of the things that we have to complete by the year 2030. But we're always happy to, and we do collaborate with our educational partners. So if there's something specific that you're asking, I can put my phone number and email in the chat, and then we could talk about that a little bit more specifically.
Yes, that'll be great. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we have a call to question. If that's all the comments, I don't see any other chat requests. Okay, all right, so we're going to take a vote on this. Again, let's raise our hands. All those in favor of approving this text amendment with the following conditions: that leading up to and for 1 year after the groundbreaking of the trail, the Atlanta Beltline shall organize multiple NPU-J co-sponsored public presentations with Q&A and one-on-one consultation sessions regarding how to take advantage of the new opportunities for existing residents and small business owners, entrepreneurs, due to the introduction of the Atlanta Beltline to their neighborhoods. All right, raise your hand if you're dialed in at *9. And if you're using the app, it's underneath the participants block. I have 11 yays. Okay, 11. I'm going to lower all the hands. All those in opposition, the nay, raise your hand. I see none. All those who abstain, please raise your hand.
Ben, this is Virgil. I abstain.
Thank you. So 3 raised hands, 4. All right, I see 4, and Virgil's voice is 5. So 5 abstentions. So the motion passes. Thank you. Thanks, Lynette.
Thank you. We'll be talking back with you soon.
Yes, thanks. All right. All right, the next item to discuss, this was the one that we voted beginning of the meeting to add to the agenda. It falls under zoning. We have a request for a letter of support for a project being put together by Prestwick Companies and Invest Atlanta for redevelopment of the old Verbena Gardens apartment complex in Dixie Hills. I'm going to turn this over to Derek Green, who is the chair of Dixie Hills Neighborhood Association.
I hate to say this, Ben. Oh, yeah. This is Elizabeth Thompson, Vice Chair. Derek, we're going to respect everything you got. We got 3 minutes.
Okay.
This is getting to be, it's 9:24, so got 3 minutes.
Derek, you there?
Hello.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't know if I wanted to.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Well,
not taking long on this one.
Okay.
I actually thought Presswick was presenting on this particular.
Yeah. Are they on? Do we have anyone from Presswick on?
If not,
all right. Well, I guess let me step in for a minute if I can. So
go ahead.
Here's what we're looking at. So Presswick, if you can read my little description for those who see the screen. So Presswick Companies is in partnership with Invest Atlanta, seeking to redevelop that blighted property formerly known as Verbena.
We don't see anything.
It's not
We
on
don't see
the
anything but Ben.
I'm sorry.
And if they're not here, I'm gonna make a motion to defer if they're not here, but please go ahead and pull it up.
Okay. Here we go.
If you made the motion, is anybody second your motion? Is a motion? There's a motion on the floor.
Well, we discussed this. We voted this out of committee, so it doesn't require a second.
Virgil, not you, Ben. Virgil, parliamentarian. Virgil.
Yes. I'm sorry.
There's
Do you hear me?
on the floor. How do we deal with that?
No, wait, I'm sorry. I apologize for the confusion. I wasn't making a motion. I wanted Ben to say what he had to say, but I'm saying if they are not here, I will, after he is complete, be making a motion to defer, because I don't know why we would vote on something if the applicant is not even here to present.
And Madam Chair, Vice Chair, that would be a proper motion. It would be, it takes precedent over the committee motion. So she can refer that back to the committee.
Okay, that's
for
on
further
you,
discussion.
Leah.
That's
Whatever you want to do.
Out of respect for the zoning committee chair, I would just like for him to be able to finish his sentence.
All right, so yeah, let me finish this. So what we're looking at, they Presswick and Invest Atlanta are trying to put in an affordable housing unit. They need to, in October, meeting with the board, they need a letter of support from both the NPU-J and the neighborhood association, Dixie Hills. So if we don't give them, and it's not a letter of support of all the final details of the project, it's just saying that we're in support of them moving forward with trying to secure funding. So what we were looking to do, since we really didn't have a chance for them to go to the Dixie Hills neighborhood yet and be voted on, we were going to do what we've done and take precedent in previous matters where we could vote to approve it conditionally on Dixie Hills approving it.
But this is all, Ben. I thought we mentioned on that call that we wanted to do a community agreement or something.
That is correct. But the community benefits agreement is part of something that the neighborhood and even Penelope Neighbors will be working on. That is not conditional. That has to be bound to this part of it. We, as they discussed when they came to the committee, the zoning committee meeting, that those details could be worked out all into next year.
Okay, so I guess my question is, when will each one of these neighborhood association communicate to develop that agreement? I think it's better to go ahead while we're at the table with this and kind of start developing that blueprint to present and not wait another year to, present it to them.
Yes, I mean, that'll be up to the individual neighborhood association. Penelope Neighbors, go ahead and start working with them. And I know that we have the Dixie Hills meeting is coming up in October, a few weeks. So there's the chance to have those discussions, but this isn't like a vote at the NPU to approve them to build everything. This is a letter of support for them to move forward with securing funding so that they can finish all the details of the project. Apparently they have hurdles they have to go through. And the first hurdle is just a letter of support saying that at face value, we like the idea of them doing a project of development, at that location.
So will we include, we're voting or approving for you to move forward, but
this is
to reevaluate. Okay.
Right. This is a vote just to simply say that we'll send a letter of recommendation in support of proposed development, contingent on the favorable support from the Dixie Hills Neighborhood Association, the Dixie Hills Community Civic Club, during October's monthly meeting, the Dixie Hills October monthly meeting. So we would be kind of showing our support based around the neighborhood approval.
So help me to understand, do Penelope neighbor need to do that, or will we do one individual?
So technically, the property sits in Dixie Hills. So while I know that we got them to commit to talking with Penelope neighbors to make sure your issues are addressed, just because of the proximity, I think from a legal perspective, it's only Dixie Hills that they need the letter of support from, since of the boundary.
Okay.
This is Chris. I'm sorry, Leah. Let me get this out. We played this hand with the Center Hill Neighborhood Association with the property, and it worked out well. It worked out in our favor. I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
What does that mean, Chris? Please.
So we had a similar situation where a property owner came to the NPU zoning committee meeting and presented, and then they came to the NPU meeting, presented again, and they got contingent approval for their project approval on project contingent on getting Center Hill Neighborhood Association approval. But that gave us an opportunity to corner them and make some requests and have a difficult discussion. But we got a lot out of it. I just want to put that out there. This model worked for us in a different context.
I appreciate that, Chris, and I appreciate that, Chris, and I would like to make a motion, Mr. Chair. I want to say before I make my motion, and I realize that the hour is spent, so I will make it very quick. I will not jump on the soapbox, but I have to say this, it really concerns me that these developers are doing community engagement last. You didn't wake up yesterday and decide to do 400 affordable units. You've known about this for God knows how long, and then you decide to put it on the NPU's agenda, and it wasn't even on the agenda, and say, oh, we don't have time to go to the neighborhood before we go to Invest Atlanta. Why didn't you go to the neighborhood last month or the month before that? I acknowledge that Dixie Hills is not my neighborhood, so I won't get on that soapbox, but I think that it's time for NPU-J to stop allowing people to do this. It is unfair, and it is honestly a slap in our faces that they're so quick to go to Invest Atlanta for money, but don't have time to come to the neighborhood. With that in mind, I make a motion that NPU-J not support the application, but I make a motion that NPU-J supports the decision of Dixie Hills Community Civic Club, period. That is my motion.
I second that.
I truly do agree with that. Out of all things, I will say that is one thing I will say, because this is dogs. I mean, this is the first in the last 3 weeks that I've heard about. They already named it Verbena. And I'm asking these questions because I know what's going to happen. They're going to get back there. And whether it's Dixie Hill or Penelope neighbor, we're going to lose out and not benefit from this. And there's so much, but we're going to vote. And this is what is happening. We just keep voting and they already start the process, which Leah says. And then what happens is they just start billing, and we have to deal with that and the consequences of the traffic. Just like the red light up here on Westlake and Martin Luther King, they just put this stuff out here and nobody knows how it got there, but it's there. So we got to be a little stronger about what our demands are, and what our expectations are, because if they start there, they're gonna continue to start around us, gradually. So that's just me, but I do agree with Leah on that. I mean, however you all want to vote, it's Dixie Hill, I will support it, but I am very cautious on that.
All right, Leah has a motion on the floor. Vote. Let's vote. There's a motion on the floor. Let's vote.
You got a call for a discussion.
Any discussion?
I support Leah 100%. I just need clarity on the motion.
My motion, Reverend Elligan, is that NPU-J support the outcome of the engagement with Dixie Hills Community Civic Club. If they vote yes, then we have a letter of support. If they vote no, then we issue a letter of non-support.
Okay, great.
We're supporting Dixie Hills neighborhood.
Okay, great.
All right, so all those in favor?
Motion.
Yeah. Okay, I see 13 yays. Okay, I'm gonna lower the hands. 1 sec. Okay, all those opposed, raise your hand. *9 if you're dialed in on the phone. Let's see, one nay. All right, lower hands. Any abstentions?
Ben, this is Virgil. I abstain.
Okay, thank you.
Ben, I also would like to mention that we're long on time as well.
Okay. And 5, counting Virgil's verbal abstention, and then I'll abstain as well. That's 6 abstentions. So the motion passes. Thank you, Leah, for that motion.
Okay, Madam Vice
All right.
Chair, can we get
Thanks.
30 more minutes so we can get through this? Hopefully next month will be a lot easier. I'm so sorry. This virtual is a lot longer than we expected, so I'm really sorry. Can I get a motion to extend the meeting 30 more minutes, and hopefully we can get through everything we have on here? We have probably 3 more things on here. Can I get a motion?
This is Ben. I make a motion that we extend the meeting up to 30 more minutes.
This is all seconded.
Madam Vice Chair, motion has been seconded. What say you?
Virgil, what'd you say?
Motion to extend meeting has been seconded. What say you?
Okay, can I have a vote? Do I have to vote? Vote. Raise hands.
All right, *9 to raise your hand if you're dialed in, and click the raise hand button underneath participants. I have 9 yays. We have 11. All right, that's it. 11 yays. Okay, Madam Chair.
Okay, yeah, can you lower your hands so we can get the nays, please?
Yes.
Lower your hands.
See 3 nays. 4 nays.
Any abstain?
Yeah, 4. 4 is final count. Okay.
4?
Yes.
Any abstentions?
This is Virgil. I abstain.
This is Ben. I abstain too. So 2 abstentions.
I'm sorry, can we make that 3 abstentions? I couldn't click my button fast enough.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. So 11 yays, 3 nays, and 3 abstentions. So motion carries.
Okay, Ben, you can go on with your last presentation.
Okay. Now, Kiana had me add a North Eugenia. To be honest, I'm not sure what that was in relation to. Does anyone on the call have knowledge on?
Hi, Ben. Yeah, actually, hi, Ben. I was working with Atelier 7 on this.
Okay.
And so I'll present, but I'll try to make it as abbreviated as possible. Real quick, last month, we were able to secure a commitment from Grove Park Neighborhood Association to develop North Virginia Street. I'm unable to share the display, so I apologize. It's not coming up. However, it's a 9 single family residence featuring container homes. And out of those 9 is using the community land trust model, which means that the Atlanta Land Trust will own the land underneath these properties. And it's also using affordable housing model, of which 6 of the units will be at 85% of AMI or below to 65%, down to 65% AMI. It's a combination of partnerships from Atelier 7 Architects, Giant Containers, and other organizations to bring this together. It's a new, one of the things is prefab containers, but they integrate into a community. The benefit is to show, outside of bringing this attention to Grove Park into our neighborhoods, is the speed of construction. It's a less disruptive form of construction where once the land is prepped, as land is being prepped, the containers are being prepared in factory at the same time. The design is sensitive to community standards as far as landscaping. It would be landscaped. It would have access through rear alleyways to the homes for parking, so the homes will be facing one another. There is no need, one of the things that didn't show up in zoning because there's no need to change the zoning in this case. And these homes are designed to create more of a millennial, to appear to more of a millennial model, and it's to keep an ownership model in Grove Park. I'm trying to be as brief as I can just because, but again, we're coming to the NPU to ask for their support, which basically rubber stamps the letter of support received by the Grove Park Neighborhood Association. It's similar to the Presswick model in which they're just asking to the letter so to proceed with financing. And that's kind of the highlights. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
So I'm just gonna say, like I said, the last meeting. Hello?
Derek, are these like tiny homes?
No, they're not. They're not tiny homes. They're not. That's
So what's the square footage on these homes?
They average between 700, and this is rough estimate, and let me get the paperwork up, to about 1,000. So like basically like small
That's
2 and 3 bed.
Tiny.
That's tiny.
Madam Vice Chair, like I had said in the last meeting when he presented this at Grove Park, they still don't have funding. And so I just don't understand why this is being presented when there still is not secured funding for this project, number one. Number two, why are we going to be asked to approve something when we are not even being able to be shown what you're presenting? And number three, we can't see you. So that's kind of a problem for me. That's all I had to say.
Well, you can see me.
I'd like to ask, how does this
Okay, hold on. Point of order. Point of order. One person at a time, one voice. So who's speaking?
Well, I was just going to answer Mrs. Tobias first. I wasn't showing myself only because I was trying to get the display up. For some reason today, I'm unable to do it. The second thing is the Grove Park Neighborhood Association did vote to approve this already at their last meeting. So we did go through that proper step. We also did show renderings. That's what I was trying to bring up just now for those models. So again, I just wasn't being seen because I was trying to bring it up on the screen. For some reason tonight, it's not cooperating. And also with the funding situation, this is really customary when you do affordable housing. The funding sources a lot of times will not release funding unless you get neighborhood approval. That's the same thing Presswick is going through and presenting tonight. The same thing for any affordable housing initiative. You have to have neighborhood approval. Since the money does come from public sources.
Hello. One person, one voice, one voice. Point of order.
So I'm done. I wanted to address Mr. Tobias's comments and questions.
Okay, well, I mean, the vote was close at the last meeting. So, I mean, it wasn't like a unanimous vote by any ways or means. And for me, I would motion to oppose the approval of this project because it does not go in conjunction with the neighborhood setting, which is brick homes and wood-sided homes. And also, there's no tiny homes. So this would be setting a new precedent for this neighborhood and this NPU.
I agree.
Actually, actually I live in would be a tiny home that's been here since
Virgil.
So,
Point of order. Is there a motion on the floor? Because he motioned.
Hold on a second. Hold on. There is a motion that's on the floor, but you have to recognize the person making the motion, repeat the motion and the second, and bring that motion before. But my concern is, are we finished with his presentation?
Actually, I'm taking comments from the floor. I mean, questions. I did want to address any questions from the NPU.
Well, I have my hand up. Is it okay for me to speak?
Okay, but
Yes,
remember there's a
ma'am.
motion though presenting before you, okay?
So am I able to speak?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, she can speak.
Okay, so container homes, I'm Gail Mapp, Level Construction Services. Container homes are not tiny homes. It's a definite distinction between a tiny home and a container home. And most of the houses in Grove Park are less than 1,000 square feet anyway. So it's just sorry that Derek can't put up the pictures so that you can see what they look like. But there is a distinct difference between, and you can Google it, and I know that's extra work for you, but because his presentation can't be put up, tiny homes are totally different than container homes.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else? You have anything else? Any more comments? No?
This
Yeah,
is
I would
this
just
is
like
Doll. I just have a question. Are you all trying, I mean, with the traditional homes that are over there, wouldn't that impact the community with those type of home? It takes away, some things over in the community. I'm looking at the historical district, all of that type of information. And I just don't think that part of a 18-wheeler needs to be in a community, because that's basically what it is. It's made out of aluminum. And we are trying to keep the tradition and the history of the community, and it just impacts value.
Real quick, in that area right now, there used to be an abandoned apartment building. And so right now, if you're looking at the street, it's very either a combination of deserted and or renovated houses. And that piece of land is in an inclusionary zone. So there are a lot of options for what can be done there. Right now, in the containers, another point, these containers are not former tractor trailers. These are brand new containers from the factory. That's one of the things in this particular case. Right here in Dixie Hills, which is almost on border of Penelope, there on Wilson Avenue, one of these same types of designs just sold for, excess of $320,000. So it's attractive. It's meant to attract a nice neighbor, a good buyer. In this case, we're trying to do it in an affordable space so that other people can basically participate in home ownership. It's combination with Atlanta Land Trust. We also, at the Grove Park Neighborhood Association meeting, made a commitment to work with current clients who are in the Grove Park Foundations program for home ownership. They would get first opportunity to purchase So it's a lot of things we're doing for the community. And also, I would say this particular concept east of the Mississippi River is new. So we're bringing other types of attention from financiers, from developers to Grove Park and to the west side so that they can see what we're doing. And it's meant to basically, you know, clean up that area. Right now, it just needs, you know, that like we all have in our neighborhoods. It's a sore spot, just like Verbena is for us. And so one of the things is to bring something there that looks good and attractive. And I'll be free to share the
presentation.
I'll put it on the chat box.
Okay. Can we move the motion?
For the sake of time, Tobias has a motion on the floor. Tobias?
I second Tobias' motion.
Tobias, can you repeat
Yes.
your motion?
Yes, I was motioning to oppose the development based on the not aligning with the character of the current neighborhood.
I second the motion.
I would also like to real quick too that this was approved
motions
by
on the
Grove
floor.
Park.
Point of order. There's a motion on the floor that has been seconded. Can I have a vote? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand.
Is everybody done raising their hand? We're good? Okay, I see. There's 9 yays for the motion. I'm sorry, correction, there's 8. 1, 2. There's a, sorry, correction, 8 yays for the motion.
Can I have nays? Please lower your hand if you had your hand raised. If you have a nay, lower your hand. Nay, raise your hand.
Okay, last call. I see 5 nays.
Abstentions. Any abstentions?
This is Ben, I abstain.
This is Virgil, I abstain.
So there's 4 abstentions. 5, let's see, 5. Anyone else? Okay, 5 abstentions. So 8 yays, 5 nays, and 5 abstentions. So the motion to deny passes.
Okay.
Ben, you on something. The motion is to deny the letter of support.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was the motion from Tobias.
All right. Is that all you have from your committee, Ben?
Yes, that is it for the zoning committee. Yes, thank you.
Atlanta Land and Trust, are they still here for 3 minutes?
I'm here.
You got 3 minutes from 9:53 to 9:56.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen just so we can get through this quickly. I appreciate y'all's time tonight. The Atlanta Land Trust is actually seeking a letter of support for a funding application that we have submitted to Invest Atlanta. We are also, unfortunately, taking this out of order. I recognize that, but there is a reason for that, and I will be sure to explain it. First of all, I want to start with just a quick introduction. My name is Amanda Ryan. I'm the Executive Director of the Atlanta Land Trust. And with me tonight is Darian Dunn, who is Managing Partner with Atlantica Properties. We are working together on this project that is in Northwest Atlanta. including both NPUs J and G. The Atlanta Land Trust is a nonprofit organization that was created to deliver and steward permanently affordable housing to support inclusive, equitable communities near the Beltline and other targeted areas of the city of Atlanta. We operate as a community land trust, which means we have a dual ownership model where we are separating ownership of the home from ownership of the land. The purpose of that is to reduce the cost of the home by removing land from the equation and also putting resale restrictions in place on the home so that every single time the home is sold, it's sold at an affordable price to a low-income family. So what we ask our homeowners to do is to pay forward the benefit of an affordable home that they receive to the next family that purchases the home. Through the community land trust model, they are able to realize a limited amount of wealth creation. If I had more time, I would go into how that works, but I'm happy to come back. Or you are welcome to attend our community information session that's coming up on October 10th, I believe. We have one every single month on Saturday mornings, second Saturday of the month, and we go into a lot more depth on how the community land trust model works. So I want to make sure that I get to the project at hand. Atlantica Properties has identified a land acquisition opportunity in Northwest Atlanta. As I said, it covers 40 parcels in both NPU-G and NPU-J. 3 neighborhoods are going to be impacted: Cary Park, Almond Park, and Grove Park. We have reached out to Ms. LaRue with the Grove Park Neighborhood Association to request time with them to review the project. So what we would be seeking today would also be a conditional approval. This is an off-market acquisition of 40 parcels totaling just under 12 acres of land. The majority of these parcels are vacant and they are scattered throughout this area. So for the most part, they are single-family home parcels that do not have homes sitting on them. We would propose to develop about 80 new units on these parcels, including a mix of single-family homes, duplexes, and townhomes. And the homes would be about half for sale and half for rent to residents with incomes ranging from 60% to 120% of AMI. What we're asking Invest Atlanta for is funding for the land acquisition cost, which is about $2.4 million. The reason that we are kind of rushing to get this in front of Invest Atlanta, we submitted our application to them on September 11th and are hoping to get approval from their board of directors at their October meeting. Because this is a private property owner and we are competing on the market with investors who are trying to acquire these properties and develop market rate homes. The property, in fact, is under contract with another builder right now. And we are hoping that that contract falls out and they're unable to close so that we can come in and put it under contract and use the funding from Invest Atlanta to close on the property. And then we'll have a little bit more time to think through exactly what we're developing on the properties, what the phasing is, and what the design of the homes are. But in order for us to be able to compete and secure the land, get control of the land, unfortunately, we do have to move rather quickly. And that would mean that we would want to get a conditional letter of support again from this NPU this evening that would be contingent upon support of the Grove Park Neighborhood Association. I'll also mention we did present to NPU-G last week and got support from them to move forward. So with that, I will be happy to answer any questions.
I forgot who's presiding over this part, but either Mr. Chair Zoning or Madam Chair NPU, I'd like to be recognized, please.
I got my hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was somebody's
for
hand
it.
up before mine? I apologize. If somebody's hand was up
Go
before
for it.
mine, please go ahead.
No, Leah, we have 1 minute before Virgil's going to tell me I have to extend the meeting again. So let's move this really quickly.
I'll go very quickly. Amanda, I love you, adore you. Amanda and I work together and I think she's amazing. But my comment to you is the same as it was for Prestwick in their absence. These developers and all have got to do better about community engagement. These projects don't land in your laps overnight, and it's just not okay to rush things through the process. That said, we have had discussion We have agreed to the timeline. I have reached out, GP&A, Grove Park has reached out to the NPU-J zoning chair, Mr. Norman, and we've agreed to a timeline that works for Grove Park and for NPU-J and for the Atlanta Land Trust. This has the potential to be beneficial to the community. We will review the project thoroughly and vet it on Friday, along with NPU-J's zoning committee, and we will take a vote there. This will then go to Grove Park on Tuesday, October 4th for a vote. And with that in mind, I make the same motion that I made for Prestwick, that NPU-J supports the will of Grove Park Neighborhood Association.
This is Ben. I'll second that.
Do I have a second? This motion has been moved in second. Can we vote?
Can you make the motion a little shorter and clearer, or say it again? I'm sorry, it was a lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My motion is that it is the same motion that I made for Prestwick. I make a motion that NPU-J votes to support the Grove Park Neighborhood Association vote on this item. So whatever Grove Park votes for, NPU-J will support that vote. Is that clear, Ms. Gill?
Yes, that's clear. Okay.
Thank you.
This motion has been made and second. So all in favor, please raise your hand at this time.
There. Let's see. All right, does everybody raise your hand? Ready? All right, we'll do the count. $11 yeas.
Can I get everybody that raised their hand, please lower your hand so he can get the nays, please.
I'm gonna lower everybody's hand. Hold on one second. I'm gonna lower them again. Okay. All nays, raise your hand. It's *9 if you're dialed in, or click the button, raise hand. Let's see, 2. Is that it? Okay, 2 nays. We'll lower hands. Okay. Okay, Madam Vice Chair, ready for all the abstentions? Yep.
Abstentions. And I know, Virgil, we end the meeting 15 minutes. We're gonna do 15 minutes this time.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
I wanted a nay. I wanted a nay. I'm sorry.
Nay. Okay, so there'll be 3 nays. Okay, got it.
Ben, this is Virgil, I abstain. And yes, the extension on the time.
I know.
So I see, I'll abstain as well. So there's 2 raised hands and 2 voice abstentions. That's 4 total. So 11 yeas, 3 nays, and 4 abstentions. So the motion from Leah, it passes.
Ben, can you second and abstain? Can you do both?
Oh, that's a good point. I guess, well, actually I can technically, yes.
You can.
That's good.
I made the motion and I abstained as well.
Right, you can do that. It's allowed with the parliamentarian rules.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, do we have other business that we need to extend for, or can we just adjourn? Is there more?
Yes,
business?
because I had a motion regarding the voting. So I acknowledged him and we put him off. So we acknowledged Tobias's, so I need that 15 minutes for any other business that, I don't want to negate that.
I make a motion to extend the meeting for only the time it takes to address Tobias's motion to ensure that all NPU residents get to vote in light of COVID-19 meeting cancellations. That's my motion.
I'm so sorry. Can I get a second? We gotta extend the meeting first.
I second the motion.
5 minutes, y'all. Like, if we can't do this in 5 minutes, then I quit.
Look, We gotta extend the meeting first. Can we get a motion? Can I get a motion to extend the meeting like until 10:15?
I'd make a motion to extend the meeting for 15 minutes.
Can we do
Can I get a
unanimous consent? If there are no objections, the motion carries. Please, do we have to vote and count and all of that? If there are no objections, the motion carries. Mr. Parliamentarian or Madam Chair?
Yes, yes, unanimous consent is an option for the chair, for the vice
I
chair.
have an objection, like, I have an objection or question to it. So you're suggesting that anybody that, if you wasn't here for 3 months, you'd be considered that you were here to vote?
No.
Right now, the motion is that we extend the meeting.
Okay.
That's all it is. The motion is that we just extended the meeting. That's it. The motion on the floor, we extend the meeting for this vote. That's all. Can I get a consensus on that motion?
So you'll want to ask if there are any objections, Madam Chair, and if there are no objections, we'll extend.
Okay. Are there any objections that we extend the meeting for this vote? Anybody? Because I want to hear from everybody, anybody. I know that we're all tired, but
No objections.
we want to hear.
No objections.
There's no objection. We extended it back. Keep asking.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to move on. Is Tobias still online?
Yes, I'm right here.
All right, Tobias, we want to make sure we hear you and we want to hear the community because I've had it before. So,
Right.
I mean, okay, let's put your motion on the table and let's see what's going on.
Sure. So I was motioning to give people attendance credit for the 3 months that this NPU was not in session during COVID, which was March, April, and May, while other NPUs were, so that they can have credit towards voting because there was no meeting in session.
Okay, can I have a second?
Hello, this is
I'll second.
actually, hold up. We talked about this.
Wait, hold on a second. Point of order. This is Virgil. Tobias, I'm not sure if I met you, but your motion was seconded. I don't recall who seconded, so it doesn't need a second. Does the recording secretary have that motion seconded? That is a question.
I think that was for something else.
No.
No, it was
No.
for this. It was second.
Either way,
already
it
seconded.
has been second.
Okay.
It was second. Daniel Choman seconded.
Yes.
Hello, this is Derek Green. Can I speak, Chair?
Yes.
Yes, we actually, this was already addressed in our July meeting. Unfortunately, the secretary hasn't gotten the minutes to us, but it was decided then, and this by memory, that those 3 months were just 3 months that were missed. So until we need to review those minutes before we have a motion for something that we've already made a decision on.
Madam Chair,
I can't. Okay, go on, Leah.
well, I would rather let somebody else speak because I'm tired of advocating and being the only big mouth here. We have definitely had a lot of concerns about the record keeping. I've personally been asked by countless neighbors, am I eligible to vote? Every time I show up, they tell me I can't vote. I've asked for an eligibility list. I also asked for, I acknowledge that these are all volunteer positions. And so I'm certainly trying not to hold anybody or blame anybody, but we've been unable, I'll put it this way, we've been unable to get voting eligibility lists, and we've been unable to get eligibility for serving in office lists as well. I have members, Ms. Tommy Mathis being one of them, who still at this moment, 10 o'clock at night, is on this meeting and still doesn't have the voting in front of her name. She has been to, I don't know how many meetings. She's been coming to these meetings since before many of us were born, myself included. Tobias has certainly been to 3 meetings. He's called into some and visited some. Ashley said the same thing. She was appointed as bylaws chair, and she was not considered a voting member. And I just think that there's a little bit of, without blaming anybody, Anissa Farrell, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, our sister from Penelope Neighbors. She's a neighborhood president, a committee chairperson, and she doesn't have the word voting in front of her name.
That's okay. It's okay to be that way, but that's fine. But I'm
only saying that to say that there is a general in the neighborhoods, Rolanda Powell, another example. I see she doesn't have voting in front of her name. There's a general lack of confidence in the information that we've received. And I think that it would, I'm just saying I'm not opposed to this motion. I'm prepared to vote for it. I'm not opposed to this motion because I think that I would rather see people voting that may not have been eligible to vote as opposed to people being eligible to vote and not being able to vote. I don't want to see people being disenfranchised in our neighborhood again. We face too much disenfranchisement out there in the world. We got political parties trying to keep us from voting in national elections. Not to accuse anyone of doing that here. That's not my point. But I would much rather see my neighbors who even bother to spend 3 hours on a Tuesday night coming to this meeting, being able to vote, than holding them back from voting. If people are here, I say let them vote. That's my.
I would say for those that were not here and to be counted as though they were, that's my concern.
No, it's not for those that were not here. His motion is for credit for the meetings that were canceled.
Right.
In
So
March,
you're getting credit for, if you're getting credit for meetings that you weren't, what if you wasn't there?
The meetings didn't.
I know. So that my suggestion is that those meetings don't count.
Well, I mean, APAB, what I saw when looking at the city of Atlanta, APAB counted those meetings because we can't hold people accountable for meetings that we did not conduct. Right. So how do we hold people accountable for meetings that we just didn't conduct? So, I mean, I understand everybody's confusion, but my precedence as it is now is that if the city of Atlanta is saying that we can't hold people accountable for meetings that we did not conduct. And that's my position. So, I mean, this is discussion right now, but I mean, there's a motion on the floor. So let's vote on the motion on the floor.
Discussion. Can I point out that people may not know what APAB is, and that is a good point. APAB is the body that represents all of the NPUs. APAB does acknowledge voting attendance for, that is correct. That is a city board designated by the city of Atlanta, and they do acknowledge voting credit. I mean, attendance, I'm sorry, I'm tired, y'all. Attendance credit for meetings that were canceled due to COVID. That is true.
If that's the case, then I agree with that then.
Right, but my only issue is that in July, we agreed to follow our bylaws, and the bylaws, and I can't remember, I'm not looking at the bylaws right now, but we made a decision as a body to follow the bylaws. When there's not a meeting, it's just not a meeting. So my only issue is that we already made this decision in July. So I mean, that's my only issue.
But we didn't vote on that in July at all. As a body, we definitely did not vote on that. And furthermore, if the issue is adhering to the bylaws, then we don't even have a right to meet right now because the bylaws don't say that we can meet virtually. I understand what you're saying, Derek. I'm just pointing out that this is tricky. The whole thing is COVID-19 is tricky, and it caught all of us off guard, and none of us were prepared, and none of us really know how to handle it. So the best thing we can do is let our neighbors participate in the process. Seriously.
I don't want to be accused of voter suppression or anything like that. And we have literally a couple of minutes. So what I'm going to suggest is that Tobias has a motion on the floor. It has been second. So can we vote on it?
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor. Can we vote on it? Ben?
Madam Vice Chair, that is your decision.
Right.
Okay. You have to decide that.
We're voting on the motion. Tobias has a motion on the floor. It has been duly seconded. So if anybody's gonna vote for the motion on the floor, please raise your hand now.
There are 9 yeas.
How many?
9 yeas, nine
4,
yeses.
6, 8, 10, 11.
Right. All right, hold on. Is there more? Oh, sorry. Hang on. Oh, they keep raising hand. All right, 1 second. Thank you for correcting me. 11, that is correct. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna lower all the hands. Okay, Madam Vice Chair, we're ready for the nays.
Can we have the nays? Please raise your hand now.
All right, last call. I see 2 nays. Lowering the hands. Okay, ready for abstentions?
Abstentions.
Madam Vice Chair, this is Virgil. I abstain.
And this has been, I abstain as well. And I see 1 raised hand, so that's 3 abstentions.
I'm sorry, there's a nay in the chat that you can add to the nays.
Okay. All right, so 3 nays. Thank you. And 3 abstentions. So 11 yays, 3 nays, 3 abstentions. Motion passes.
Okay, and
Madam Chair, can I make a statement?
Yes, sir.
As the chair of the committee, for the nominating committee rather, I don't disagree with the vote, but a point of clarity, there is a list of attendance that is available. I think we can question if we desire the integrity of the list, but the availability of the list is in hand, and I stated it in my presentation. So those who desire a copy of the list of based on whatever the records are for voting and for eligibility to be nominated as an officer, the list is available.
Thank you, sir. I've already requested that list. I appreciate it.
And may I say
I
something,
appreciate
please? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just think we need to be consistent, because here we held it seemed that the person that was working on the bylaws, we were holding her feet to the fire because their committee didn't have enough time to get the work done. And we know how complicated bylaws work is, but we were holding her feet to the fire even regardless of COVID-19. So I think that we need to give consideration in every area. If we're going to give consideration for COVID-19 in some areas, then we need to give consideration for COVID-19 in other areas. And I just want us to be consistent with that, because I don't feel like it was consistent when it came to the bylaws.
Well, that's why I thought that this was really important, that we give people consideration that we did not hold meetings, so we can't hold them accountable for not coming to meetings that we did not hold.
That's fine.
So we can't hold.
I voted for it, but
that's
I
what
want to say,
I agree with you 100%.
Give the same consideration, you know, for all other things.
I agree. So, I mean, can we, is there any other conferences that we need to do? Because we're going to close this meeting and we're going to close it in prayer. Derek Green, can you give us a prayer to close this meeting? Because we need it. Somebody give us a meeting. Somebody give us a prayer to close this meeting.
Amen.
Reverend Ellington, can you give us?
God, we thank you for the city of Atlanta and our leadership, NPU-J in particular, and our leadership. We continue to pray for unity and peace and protection Bless our evening, bless our day, bless our week. In the name of Jesus Christ and all faiths that are represented here, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Meeting has concluded at 10:19 p.m. God bless everybody and see y'all next month. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Good night.